Happy Pride Month to everyone but me, apparently.
I'm in danger!
Discussing the contemporary sapphic book Tryst Six Venom by Penelope Douglas. It is a new adult bully romance. That's right, sapphics, there's a version of Bully by Penelope just for us. As much as I was not looking forward to reading this because I read a tiny amount of Credence out of curiosity, and holy hell, never again. We are doing this. These are my tabs. Get ready for the rodeo. Penelope has listed some trigger warnings, but they are not exhaustive. Here are Penelope's trigger warnings: abuse, bullying, suicide, self-harm, violence, body shaming, fat phobia, sexual assault, emotional and physical abuse, eating disorders, and outing. Because we know that these are not all of the trigger warnings necessary, here are some from Storygraph: bullying, homophobia, sexual content, body shaming, lesbophobia, violence, toxic relationships, sexual assault, emotional abuse, child death, sexual harassment, suicide, classism, death of a parent, kidnapping, sexual violence, mental illness, sexism, grief, rape, cancer, biphobia, outing, misogyny, physical abuse, chronic illness, gaslighting, cursing, terminal illness, toxic friendship, hate crime, suicidal thoughts, alcohol, eating disorder, racism, blood, adult minor relationship, fat phobia, drug use, addiction, infidelity, racial slurs, domestic abuse, incest, religious bigotry, suicide attempt, dysphoria, injury/injury detail, abortion, gore, xenophobia, pregnancy, drug abuse, self-harm, cultural appropriation, pedophilia, panic attacks/disorders, miscarriage, alcoholism, colonization, vomit, medical content, child abuse, police brutality, stalking, schizophrenia/psychosis. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep that audio in if I ever have any hopes of ever being monetized, but all right. We're trying it. Before we begin, here are some disclaimers. Number one, this review is for fellow readers and not for the authors or stands of this author's work. If you're Penelope Douglas or you love Penelope Douglas, this is not the place for you. As we've been over, I hated this book. Number two, this review will contain spoilers. I will be going chapter by chapter through this book. It will have all of the spoilers. If you want to read this book and don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this. Number three, I am not bashing sapphic books. I am a lesbian and number one butch defender. I believe that we deserve well-written books and poorly written books. I understand, especially with the book banning climate that we have right now, that it's very important for us to protect books. I'm not ever saying that these books should be banned. I'm saying that I hate them. And if straight people are allowed to be on YouTube ranting about books they hate, then I'm also allowed to do that. There are plenty of sapphic books that are just bad, whether they are harmful or whether the writing is just terrible. This book falls into both categories. No creative work is above critique and review. Number four, this book makes me angry. So if you're not into seeing that, maybe come back to a different video. I just did a lovely reading wrap up for April to May where I'm not mad at all. All right, with that being said, let's get started. I'm going to start with the synopsis. Marymount girls are good girls. Even if they weren't, no one would know because girls like Clay Collins keep their mouths shut. Not that Clay has anything to share anyway. Always in control, she owns the hallways, walking tall on Monday and then dropping to her knees like a good Catholic girl she is on Sunday. What she wants, she has to keep hidden. Liv Yeager crosses the tracks every day for one reason: to graduate from high school and get into an Ivy League college. But Clay, with her beautiful skin, clean shoes, and rich parents, torments Liv daily. And then Liv gets Clay alone and finds out she's hiding so much more than just what's underneath those pretty clothes. Liv tells Clay to stay on her side of town, but one night Clay doesn't listen. And once Liv is done with her, she'll never be a good girl again. So we start out with the way any good book should, with a quote from H.D. Carlton, you know, that lady who wrote Haunting Adeline. I just noticed, because I really didn't want to read it, that it's not even for this book. She didn't even get H.D. Carlton to write something for this book. All right. Right after the trigger warnings page, we get a playlist for the book with very few sapphic artists. I'm going to put a picture over here. Also, I've never read a book in which there was a playlist before, and I think it's really weird. I think that your book should be able to stand on its own artistic merits rather than relying upon the merits of others' artistic work. But that's just me. We have so much to go through. I'm not even kidding. Let's get started. We start chapter 1 in Clay's POV. I swear Penelope and Colleen can't name any of their characters something normal. It would make their skin slough off. You'll see what I mean as we go on. Also, as a reference, Clay's family is very southern to the point where they're making her go to a debutante ball. So I don't think they would name her Clay, which from as far as I can tell from any of my research is a boy's name. They believe in like rigid gender roles and sexuality. So I can't imagine them naming her that. Like she would have been named like McKaylee or something. But there are so much worse names in this book, so we'll just have to let that go. Also, I will be using silly voices. If you don't like it, leave. We start with Clay in a parade with her sorority. I had to look up if high schools actually have sororities, and I was surprised to learn that yes, there are. So 1 point to Penelope, but I'm going to have to confiscate the point immediately anyway. She's throwing shirts with girls named Chris Jen with a K and Amy. In the back of her mind, she knows that her mom is going to be mad because she's late for her debutante ball dress fitting. There are still a lot of these in the south of the US, but I don't think we do anything like that up here in the north that I know of. Not my culture. We get this about her with her little sorority. Whether it's washing cars to raise money for cat saliva research, hosting the football team's annual pancake breakfast, or helping clean Angelica Hurst's house and do her laundry because she just had baby number 4 from daddy number 4 and she's overwhelmed. Bless her heart. We get it done Instagram style. I know that this is a bully romance, but being trapped in the head of someone so judgmental is exhausting. This is like Penny for Your Heart all over again. You should check out that rant review on my channel if you're interested. Clay and Chris Jen see Chris Jen's boyfriend Milo and the guy Clay is kind of with, but not really, Callum. She's not excited about the potential of Callum taking her to the debutante ball, but we'll get to that later. Taking the bottle out of my hands, she throws back a swallow as I grab her shirts and toss them to waiting hands. Music and laughter surround us, and the confetti gun shoots another bomb into the air. Blue, pink, silver, and gold, fluttering like snow. God, that stuff is good. She hands me the bottle back. Goes down like water. As long as you don't drink 64 ounces of this a day, got it? I down another swallow and cap my favorite brand of vodka disguised in my Evian bottle. We are already establishing that this is so edgy because teenagers are secretly day drinking in public.
So I'm edgy. I'm on fire.
Callum and Milo follow, Callum's dark blonde hair blowing in the breeze as I step and tease him with my eyes. Little girls cheer us on, looking up at me like I'm something special, while a couple guys hover close together, staring at me and whispering between them. I move in ways our facilitator will certainly hear about on Monday, but I don't care. I rub in their faces something they'll never get. Because even at 12, strutting down a pageant stage in a bikini, I knew what my power was. There's never been any confusion. We love you, Clay! Some of my classmates scream as I lead the group and finish the dance. I close my eyes, soaking up all the phone cameras recording us, and the pictures of Clay Collins that will survive long after I'm gone. Images that will show who I am louder than I can ever say in words. Homecoming queen. Prom queen, Omega Chi sweetheart, and something nice to look at. That's me. I open my eyes, immediately seeing myself in the window of a parked car at the curb. I bring up my hand, pushing the lock of blonde hair back in place. We all have to be something, I guess. We can see that emotionally she's super into being in power, except that she doesn't love it completely, as we can tell from the last line, because she's secretly different, guys. She's then talking to the guys and letting them drive her friend home, but they're drunk. Like, what is with these authors and drunk driving? This stuff kills people. It doesn't make your characters relatable or cool. It just makes them assholes. Get her home safe, I ask. God knows Milo's too dumb to do it. Maybe, he taunts. Then maybe I'll think about letting you take me to the lighthouse party. I swing my bag over my shoulder and dig inside, pulling out a wipe to clean the sparkly Greek letters off my cheeks. He sits there, that confident gleam in his eyes, like everyone wants to be near him, and he'll wait for me to realize that. Let's try to do a deep man voice. Come here, he says. Slowly, I lean in, giving him 90, so he only has to give me 10. and still look like a man. He kisses me, coming in again and again, his wet tongue grazing my bottom lip before he pulls back, holding back so I'll beg for more. You were amazing tonight, babe, Milo slurs, squeezing Christian. You both were. I hold Callum's eyes as I stand upright again. Thank you for coming. I think they liked it, he says. You dancing for me. Yeah, okay, I smile, backing away toward the dress shop. We start to see the clear signs that she's clearly a lesbian right about here with how she interacts with her boyfriend, not super interested. But we'll get to how problematic and offensive this all is later. So she leaves the parade and goes to the dress shop. Her mom is mad because she waited for over an hour and she just wants her daughter to call to let her know next time. But Clay is mad about this instantly. I've been waiting over an hour. She rises from the white cushioned high back chair and sticks her phone into her handbag. Call next time. I chuckle under my breath as I keep walking and she follows. Like I can control how fast the parade moves, I mumble. Her chunky gold and pearl bracelet jingles as she enters the dressing area behind me, and I set my bag down next to the chair near the floor-length mirrors. I glance at her in the reflection, noticing my gold necklace draped across her tanned chest, visible in her flowing, deep V-neck blouse. Coiffed golden hair, perfectly tailored black slacks that hug her 3 spinning classes a week ass, and squeaky clean right down to her trimmed cuticles. My mother's body hasn't seen a carb other than champagne in at least 12 years. Pretty sure it's in cryo freeze at this point, simply relying on eggs and hairspray to animate. Hey, as somebody who suffered from anorexia in high school, if you are really triggered by eating disorder stuff, I would tap out now. There are a lot of eating disorder comments and body shaming in this book, and I want you to take care of yourself. This is just a taste of what's to come, and it gets so much worse, literally pretty much instantly. We then get to hear about the dress, which is apparently ridiculous. Clay, my mom urges me, what do you think? I look down at her, struggling to keep my emotions from bubbling up my throat. I fold my lips between my teeth, about to burst. She doesn't care what I think. She wants me to lie. I choke on the words, a snort escaping. It's so beautiful, I'm speechless. And I can't do it anymore. Laughter pours out of me as I take in the big, fat hoop skirt monstrosity in the mirror that makes me look like Scarlett fucking O'Hara, complete with puffed sleeves and some dumbass ruffle around the waist. I'm tempted to look for the stains of Lavinia's tears of laughter all over the dress as she sewed this bullshit. She's clearly unhappy about the dress, but her mom is like, you chose your homecoming dress and you will choose your prom dress. I get to choose the debutante outfit, which I feel like that kind of thing is only for moms anyway, so okay. Her mom also offers her a Valium, which is insane.
You guys need anything? Some snacks? A condom? Let me know. Oh, God love you.
You won't be able to tell me from everyone else, I say, coming as close as I can to begging her. Every other debutante will be wearing white, and while the fabric is rather pretty on mine, lacy with pearl accents, the design is embarrassing. All the debutante dresses reek of Stepford. That's kind of the point, my mom says. Tradition, solidarity, community, unity. You're coming out as a member of society, and a society functions on standards. She smooths her hands down the fabric, pressing out any wrinkles. You need to learn that rocking the boat puts everyone on board in danger. But that's what boats are built for. What? No. So I don't really know anything about sororities and the other stuff she's being forced to do, but they've always seemed really culty to me. The only good sorority I've ever seen was in Legally Blonde.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
She puffs my sleeves and then presses a hand to my stomach. What? She purses her lips and walks around me, inspecting. I was going to have her take it down to a 4, but a 6 is already a squeeze, isn't it? Heat spreads down my skin, and I clench my jaw. Her phone rings from her bag on the chair, and she heads for it, waving me off. We'll leave it, I guess. As somebody who has an almond mom, this stuff viscerally infuriates me. I don't have to explain to you guys. It's pretty obvious why it's problematic. It feels like Penelope Douglas, though, is stuck in the 2000s. The scene feels like the scenes in Devil Wears Prada where they're shaming Andy for being a size 6, which, may I remind everyone, is still skinny, just not heroin chic. While Clay is having an internal meltdown about her future kids having to see photos of her in this dress, we see our love interest, Olivia, walk into the room. It wasn't the front door. That door has a bell on it. This was the rear one, heavy and thick. The click of the latch, so loud I can hear it from here. My heart beats faster, and in a moment, her eyes are on my back, warm on my skin. Everyone. I look up, meeting Olivia Yeager's eyes as she leans against the archway leading into the dressing room, staring at me. And all of a sudden, my skin is too hot. Hurry up, I tell her. I tip my head back and smooth my own hair into a fist high on the top of my head, twirling it into a bun and holding it there. I check myself in the mirror. Her fingers tug gently at the fabric as she moves to the next spot, and my heart beats harder, every pore on my body cooling with a sudden sweat. I let my eyes fall again, watching her at my feet. Her jean shorts, the dusky olive skin of her toned legs glowing in the light of the chandelier. I trail my gaze over her messy jet black ponytail and the red tint on her lips. She bites the bottom one, concentrating on her task. Her black and white checkered flannel flaps open, and I pause at the low V of her gray t-shirt underneath as it dips between the smooth, poreless skin of her chest. I tip my chin up, looking in the mirror again. Is she even wearing a bra, for Christ's sake? Clay is being demanding, and she gets more and more abusive through the book, right? And I don't know why we're supposed to think this is like hot and great. And also, one of the best written characters in this age group who were enemies to lovers is the Locked Tomb series, where the dynamic makes sense, and learning that they have always had some kind of feelings for each other makes sense. It makes the entire thing make sense. And there is a significant power dynamic in the first book of that series, but I don't find myself loathing those main characters or being super uncomfortable. She's ordering Liv around like a servant, and it's really icky. It's really weird. We also need to talk about the mean lesbian trope. It's not done well in this book. There's also a homophobic people are secretly gay trope, and these are obviously harmful. Clay then has Liv remove her stockings homoerotically. I don't know how she is unaware of the fact that she's just gay as fuck. Liv is trying to be helpful by helping with the dress, and she also tells Clay that the dress fits perfectly, but Clay wants it taken down to a size 4. This book really doesn't feel like it was published in 2021. I remember we were all obsessed with this in 2009, but I feel like there's been a very only recent shift back to the kind of body shaming and ED behavior that's in this book. I feel like a lot of body positivity was still quite popular in 2021, so this feels a little bit out of place. I'm not saying that people didn't have eating disorders in 2021, but it's more the way that Penelope is writing about it. Liv starts suggesting how she could make this dress better until we get this on page 15. She turns her eyes on me again, standing in front of me and looking up and down my attire. We can keep this same shade of white. It's a perfect color, really. She meets my eyes, looking at me dead on. You won't even see the cum stain when he drunk ejacks all over you in the backseat of the car after the ball, she says. The ever-present knot in my stomach pulls tighter, and I hold her gaze, unfaltering. Excuse me? Because ladies in your world don't talk about these things. A smile curls the corner of her mouth as she inches in, whispering, you just go home in tears and do things with a pulsating shower head that God didn't intend for sweet little Southern girls to do. Right? My blood runs ice cold and I grit my teeth, the heat of her breath an inch away, falling across my lips as I curl my fingers into fists. Try it tonight, she says, staring at my mouth. You might like it. While I'm glad that Liv isn't just taking the abuse from Clay as an out lesbian, this is so cringy and disgusting. Why does everything in dark romance have to be so edgy? Like, oh, I'm so edgy. Oh, if you guys know any actually good lesbian dark romance, please let me know. I'm dying for something actually good. I've been trying to find some on TikTok, but this makes me scared for the entire genre. After Clay leaves, she takes 2 Valium because hell yeah, I guess.
Come on, take a hit.
No thanks.
Just say no.
She then goes to the funeral home in town to help with the funeral makeup on the dead, because even though she is a typical Regina George, she has to be not like other girls. The girl she is going to help do the makeup for is a high schooler who went to the public school and who committed self-unaliving. I walk over to the table at the end of the row, feeling my heart start to hammer in my chest. A girl lies on the slab, her midsection covered with a sheet, and the puncture mark from embalming sits right below the rope burn around her neck. I'd read about her online today. Figured she'd be here by now. Her wet red hair mats to her head, and I grip the side of the table, brushing her fingers. Her nails are covered in chip pink polish that looks like a cheap brand you get at the grocery store. Did you know her? I hear someone ask. I don't have to turn around to recognize Sylvia Gates' voice, owner of the Wind House, the only funeral home in town. I gaze at the girl's neck, swallowing the image of the moment she slipped the rope around it and what most likely drove her to it. She went to public school. I forced my voice firm, but I've seen her around town. She's almost my age, a year younger, I think. Did Liv know her? Mrs. Gates walks around the other side of the table, clean scrubs on. You don't have to be here, Clay. She's worried I'll get triggered and then she'll have to explain to my parents why she lets me sneak in here at least once a week. Fuck it. I don't want to be home, so I pull my hood and tie my hair back into a ponytail, ready to work as I draw in a deep breath and exhale. I'll have to fix the nail polish. I'd love to change it altogether, but if she has it on, she must have liked it, so I suppose I should honor her style. I'm sure I have something equally hideous in my collection from when I was 12 that I can use. I push up my sleeves and get to work, feeling my heart calm down again as I busy myself. But my thoughts are still on her. What would Olivia Yeager say if she saw me now? Maybe it would be the one time she couldn't say anything. Sometimes I feel like I want her to know me. Sometimes I don't want her to know anything but me. And other times I'm glad she doesn't have a clue. Chapter 2, we're in Liv's POV because this is one of those books. Her brother Iron gave her a ride to school. Yes, that's right, Iron. They both go to a private Catholic school. I know just about nothing about private Catholic schools, but my wife went to exclusively Catholic private schools, so I have her as a consultant if I need that. Liv's brothers are all named ridiculous things. You're going to find out really fast that her name is one of like 2 normal names in the whole family. Like their parents hated their sons. I clutch my backpack straps. What? He hesitates a moment, looks down, then shakes his head as he takes another puff. I only approve of making paying for this place because I knew you wouldn't be interested in the guys ogling the short skirts. The scent of the dogwoods lining the walkway up to the school wafts in the morning breeze, and although it's only March, I can tell they're about to bloom. The wind sweeps through the plumeria, already decorating the campus, and students move across the circular driveway, while others climb out of cars, dropping them off for various sport or club meetings before school. Chills spread up my bare legs from the rare bite in the air. Rain is coming. What about women checking me out, I tease, worried about them? Strangely, no. He looks amused. They can't get you pregnant. I scoff, looking right, and see a few students heading down the sidewalk toward us and the front of the school. Clay Collins meets my eyes as she passes with her gray, I cannot say this word, I'm assuming it's a rich person brand, backpack. Little pink octopuses drawn on the front pocket, and she tries so hard to look bored and intolerant. But the mischief playing on her lips warns me she had a lot of fun in the dress shop last night. We're not done. We're never done. Her gaze flicks to Iron, and I turn back to him, seeing his eyes lock on her as well, as he smokes the last of his cigarette. But whereas he's well aware of the shit she throws my way, he looks like he's entertaining ideas of all the things he could do with her in a dark room or backseat. Idiot. You approve of making paying for this place, I say, so you can ogle Catholic girls in short skirts when you drop me off every day. She has to be 18 by now, right? I shake my head. Hallmark Christmas movie heroines aren't your type. Everyone is my type naked. So her oldest brother is named Macon. Yes, like Macon, Georgia. These names are so unserious. I swear Penelope flicks through a dictionary and picks words for names at random. Also, her brother Iron believes in this paternalistic bullshit, but is totally fine with being the type of guy that he wants to protect her from being creeped on by creeping on Clay, who is barely not a minor. How am I supposed to like any of these characters when they're creeps? We learn that her parents have both passed away, and there are 6 Yeager kids, including Liv. The others are all boys. As Liv is going into school, she doesn't want anyone asking about Allie, the girl who committed unaliving to herself. I grunt and fall in line with the other students making their way into school. She's only being nice to me because there was a self-unaliving with a public school student a couple days ago, Allison Carpenter, Allie for short. Everyone here seems to think every gay person knows each other, so she probably thinks I lost a friend. I knew Allie, small town and all, but I didn't know her. It was still awful what happened though, and it happens too often, but not to me. I'm almost done surviving them. Just a few more months. Liv is going down the hallway using the Rosetta Stone app to learn Spanish. This is crazy to me because the Rosetta Stone app costs money and her family is established to not have much money. Like, they're from the poorer side of town. There are free ones. Has Penelope just not heard of Duolingo or what? Anyway, she's trying to learn Spanish because she wants to know what one of her brother's exes is saying about her, which there is Google for that. And also Spanish is a very commonly learned language. Why can't we just learn it because we want to learn Spanish? Why does it have to be for some edgy, stupid reason? Damn, Aracely, the next time some ex of my brother's calls me shit in Spanish, I want to know what they're saying. I guess I should be speaking it already. I'm 1/4 Cuban, or maybe an 1/8. I'm not sure. The only thing my family prides themselves on is the other 4th or 8th of Seminole blood that keeps us on our land. Great, Liv's not completely white. Penelope Douglas isn't gonna mess this up. She's getting ready to have field hockey workouts at the school. They have them on Mondays and Wednesdays. A girl named Bex offers Liv a Thin Mint, but she doesn't take any. Fascinating. Come on, it can't be any worse than donuts. I mean, who decided what breakfast food should be breakfast food anyway? Bex grabs 2 towels from the stand and tosses me one. I mean, maybe ham doesn't go with eggs. Maybe 8 Thin Mints is the same amount of carbs you'd find in a glass of orange juice. Maybe cereal was invented as a nighttime treat, but they cleverly decided, hey, this is perfect for breakfast when people are in a hurry. I cock a brow. Cereal was invented because John Harvey Kellogg believed cornflakes would stop Americans from sinning and masturbating. The cereal thing is true, but I just know Penelope felt so smart writing this. Also, I just know she felt edgy using the C word. Penelope, my mom is clutching her pearls. Don't worry. We're talking about Bex here. She would be a good friend if we had anything in common. For now, we enjoy a camaraderie, the types of friends who navigate toward each other when our real friends aren't around. When there's a party and we need someone to talk to or someone to eat lunch with. Why can none of Penelope's female characters ever have friends? The lead from Credence didn't have any, and the lead from Bully has one terrible friend. Penelope, do you need help? I won't be your friend, but I'm sure someone will be, right? Call up Colleen Hoover. You can both hate women together. Liv accidentally eavesdrops on Clay, Christian, and Amy talking because her headphones aren't loud enough. Sure, Penelope, sure. She's not like other girls, so she can't like gossip, especially not about her bully, right? Right. Is Callum escorting you? Amy Chandler asks her. Someone has to. I shake my head a little, like that will drown out their voices, tapping my earbuds again. What the hell? Come on, Christian says. He likes you. And you're about to go off to college. Amy pants as she runs. Live it up. I tighten my fists around the bar, my arms wide as I bring it down slowly and then back up. I'll live it up, Clay says in a low voice, taunting, with someone who makes sure the only way I can leave his bed when he's done with me is by crawling. Someone with a chest like a brick wall and a cock, not a wee-wee. Liv then starts checking Clay out because there's nothing hotter than when someone verbally harasses you. While she's struggling with lifting some weights, a girl named Megan Martell comes to see if she's okay. But she's speaking disjointed Spanish while she's trying to work out and check out Clay at the same time, so she looks out of her mind. Megan graduated the year before but didn't go to college. She assists at the gym for field hockey. She's apparently really hot with blonder hair than Clay. Joy, another blonde. Megan gets behind Liv to help her form. Can I offer a suggestion? I meet her eyes, still aware of Clay's presence 10 feet away. Widen your grip, she tells me, holding the bar as I push my fists out until they touch the weights, and straighten out your wrists. You're putting too much pressure on them. I do as she says, conversations going off around the room as I lower the bar again and raise it back up. Hurt a little more now, she teases, looking down at me. I nod. Yeah. Good. I keep going as she walks around me again, and then I feel her palm on my stomach. I warm under my skin. Press the small of your back into the bench, Liv, she instructs. Her gentle hand makes my breath hitch. Feel that? She asked, pressing harder as my back hits the bench. It'll work your abs while you work your chest. Thanks. And sure enough, I start to feel the burn in my tummy as I continue my reps. Taking up position behind me again, she spots me as I lower the bar and push it back up, her perfume tickling my nose, and it's not at all unpleasant. For someone who works at a school, she sure doesn't have a lot of common sense, does she? She's 19, Liv is 17, which is iffy on its own, but combined with the power dynamics and the position of authority, this is just gross. Not to mention, this is mostly just set up to show that Liv can pull girls. She just wants one who's abusive instead. Here comes Clay, saving Liv from someone who might not verbally denigrate her at every turn. Something flies past us, splashing against the mirrors behind Megan, and water flies everywhere. I wince, drops, hitting my hair. I turn my face away, releasing the bar back to the power rack. Megan gasps, "What the hell?" A water bottle falls into the tin garbage can, and I look down, seeing cool water droplets on my arm. My heart leaps into my throat, and I turn my head, seeing Clay Collins approach. She glares at Megan. "You're not our age," Clay corrects her. Then she picks up Megan's clipboard and tosses it at her. "We'll let you know when it's time to carry our shit onto the field this afternoon." I stay lying on the bench, not budging from my back as I watch her work, almost amused as I take in her little power play. Megan was a senior when we were juniors and upperclassmen. She's also one of our coaches. Does Clay take any of this into account before attacking? Not even a little. Megan hesitates for a moment, probably gauging whether or not it's worth it to even try to report Clay's behavior. But in the end, she realizes, like we all do, that Clay might be a spoiled brat, but she's good at the long game. It's better to just hope this tantrum is the end of it, instead of enticing further retaliation. Megan leaves, her wet ponytail dangling behind her, but she spares a glance back at me, a small soft smile on her lips before she disappears through the doors. Then I turn my gaze to Clay. "What the fuck are you smiling at?" she asks me. "Your team spots you, is that clear?" I scoff as I sit up, grab my towel, and rise, meeting her eyes 2 inches from my face. "I wouldn't let you spot me a quarter for charity. She may be my team captain, but the bitch has never had my back." Bex lets a laugh escape from behind Clay, Clay's scowl hardening like she just made a promise in her head. But I don't even blink as I slip around her and leave. I know I should just lie low, only 4 months left after all. But as the home stretch shortens more every day, I care less and less. Maybe I want to see if she has anything left up her sleeves. I dare her. I really do dare her. Don't worry about Liv's honor, guys. She has a creepy pedo brother and a high school bully to protect her from having underage sex. Our heroes. We now cut to the theater department where Liv is checking the casting for Romeo and Juliet. Does any of these authors get sick of picking the most well-known Shakespeare plays for these books? Why couldn't we have picked my personal favorite, Taming of the Shrew? It's the perfect one if you forget about the ending and pretend it didn't happen. And 10 Things I Hate About You was great. I was obsessed with it as a teenager. That is some real enemies to lovers stuff. Anyway, she wanted the role of Mercutio because it makes sense. It's objectively like the most gay role of the play, not to mention the best one. But she didn't get it. Clay's boy toy Callum got it, and Liv got cast as the nurse, the lady who makes body sex jokes. She decides to go confront her teacher, Miss Lambert, about the casting. I throw open Miss Lambert's office door, finding it empty, and then stalk further down the hall, step backstage, and see her leaning over a drafting table, sifting through designs. I move around the table, standing opposite her. 4 years, I bite out, picking up at exactly where we left off the last time the theater director and I had this conversation. She looks up at me, her short brown hair tucked behind her ears. I continue. "Nearly 4 years of set designs and sewing costumes and completing whatever other menial task you asked of me," I tell her. "I spent more time here than I have with my family. You got a part. The nurse?" I practically spit out. "You didn't want Juliet. Romeo wouldn't have wanted Juliet if he'd spent more than one dance with her before marrying her." I'm yelling at a teacher, but I'm around her more than anyone, so I know she'll let me off the hook like a mom who still loves you, even when you fuck up. I grip the drafting table on both sides, drilling into her eyes with mine. Mercutio is the most dynamic character in the play. To be able to reimagine him, and I trail off, not seeing the point in saying what I've said before. The opportunity to reinvent him would be a dream come true. What the hell could Callum Ames do other than look good good in a cod piece, and even that's debatable. She rolls her blueprints. The administration won't allow a female to play a male's role. Why not? They've spent hundreds of years playing ours. So this leaves out also that there used to be this thing called breeches parts where women would play men's parts. I just learned this in Passions Between Women, British lesbian culture from 1668 to 1801. And there's an entire section about cross-dressing, and it's very interesting. So like, it's not unheard of for swapping genders in more traditional roles or for more traditional plays, but we don't want to be educated here. We just want to be horny. Liv asks her teacher if she even asked the administration if they could do like a reimagined play, and Miss Lambert won't say that she did. So it's pretty obvious that she didn't. She just knows that they'll say no. We learn that Liv did a couple of very small parts before, but they didn't have any lines, and so she really wanted to get a big role this time. Romeo and Juliet is my last chance. Was my last chance to prove what I can do before I'm inevitably rejected by the theater department at Dartmouth. Okay, we need to take a step back for a second. Dartmouth is actually in my state, New Hampshire, and it's an Ivy League school. I decided to peep the requirements for applying because I didn't apply there. Why would I? And you have to have performance videos of yourself to apply. How is someone who hasn't gotten any speaking roles going to get into Dartmouth when the people who are going to be competing are the best of the best? This book makes me feel like I'm losing my mind. How is she going to compete against these other people? The real answer is she's not. Instead of going home, she decides to rehearse for the part that she didn't get on stage anyway. She gets all dressed up and is feeling herself, but it's really awkward to me. Wouldn't most people just go home, have a good cry, join their local theater troupe? But Callum is there, and he apparently caught the whole thing. I hope he's not here for some nefarious reason. You're good, someone calls out. I freeze, my breath stopping, and then I whip around, seeing Callum Ames standing behind me. He wears fitted black pants and a dark blue polo. All of his dusty blonde hair flopped to one side. I narrow my eyes. Better than you? He grins, sliding his hands in his pockets. I'm white, rich, and male. I'll succeed no matter what. You're male, I say. You'll succeed no matter what. He has no interest in this play and not an ounce of talent. Why else did she give him this role? He cocks his head, studying me. Do you really think that's what stood in your way? He steps towards me slowly. Don't you think Lambert wouldn't give the role to, say, Clay if she'd asked? It boggles my mind that Penelope understands the concept of privilege just enough to allow her lesbian character to point it out, but not enough to be self-aware. Callum is like, you can have the role. Liv is like, yeah, if I consider your offer. He's like, no, you've had time to consider it already, indicating that he's proposed whatever he proposed before. Basically, he wants Liv to come to his country club and make out with some blonde girl in front of him and his friends. Because even in this book that is supposed to be about lesbians, it isn't for lesbians. We just have to explore the same tired trope of lesbians making out for the pleasure of men, because Penelope can't imagine a world in which men are decentered. Even in a dark romance that's supposed to be about two teenage girls, there has to be some creepy man hiding in the bushes to get off on it. Anyway, he plans to get his rich parents to donate a ton of money to the theater department so that they can sway the decision through money. Makes sense to me. Liv wants a promise from him that there won't be anyone from school there to see it. He literally doesn't answer, but she doesn't question it because she's an idiot, like all Penelope Douglas main characters. How do I know I can trust you to keep your end of the deal? I ask. He backs away. When you have nothing, you really have nothing to lose, right? He smiles that fucking smug I own the world and you know it grin before pivoting and heading down the stairs and off the stage. I hold up the key, wondering if he's just stupid or too clever for me. Maybe I want the part bad enough. Maybe I do. My insides churn, not entirely sure how low I might sink in life if tempted. If you want something for so long, what price is too great? But now I have the part and a key to his clubhouse. I lift my chin, the wheels in my head starting to turn, and all without yet paying the toll. I don't understand why he would give her the key. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why wouldn't they just meet up there? The plot is clearly too complicated for me. Chapter 3. At the beginning of chapter 3, Callum is trying to get Clay to send nudes. Clay says she'll look better naked in person because she isn't attracted to men. Clay is trying to dial the rotary phone, but she isn't imagining Callum's voice. Surprise! Instead of finishing the dialing, she gets up and gets ready for school. In her head, she tries to convince herself that bumping uglies with him will be hot and that she'll like it. I dab some toothpaste onto a toothbrush and brush my teeth, imagining his hands gliding over my thighs and between my legs, and then I switch some mouthwash, locking on my gaze in the mirror. You want him. You'll look so good together, and at night under the sheets, he'll feel good, Clay. You'll love it. His golden skin and narrow waist, his broad shoulders and big eyes that make him look so innocent until he smiles and you can see the danger. Everyone wants him. Part of me deep inside somewhere has some sympathy for her because I tried to be straight in high school and it was torture. For real. The difference between her and me, though, I didn't bully someone I had the hots for because of my own insecurities about my sexuality. It's really not that hard. We then learn that Clay is obsessed with octopuses in an effort to make her seem different from those other mean girls. Well, it's not working on me. Not much further down the page, she talks about her dead brother Henry's room, which hasn't been touched. And even though she hasn't been in since he died 4 years ago, she's glad that it's still exactly the same as it used to be. Clay is surprised that her dad is home. He has been staying more and more in Miami, supposedly for work. We can all probably guess what he's really up to down there. He lets her smoke a cigar with him. Father of the year. He asks her how everything is going. She doesn't answer, which is usually a dead giveaway to anyone, but everyone in this book is an idiot, so he just lets it go without a fight. We then get this dumped on us about her family. A long time ago, I realized that it isn't my responsibility to fix my parents. My father can face the fact at any time that Henry would hate knowing how quiet the house is now. No smiles or food fights or watching mom cry at the same part during White Christmas, during our rewatch every single holiday season. He can face the fact that while one child is gone, he still has another. That I could be out doing who knows what while he's off in Miami or Austin or Chicago. I could be getting into drugs, getting pregnant, getting arrested. Does he care? If he did, he'd be here. I used to think it hurts him too much to be in the house, but we could have moved. Maybe it hurt him to be around my mother. In that case, he could have taken me with him sometimes. But he just leaves, and it didn't take long to get the message. Neither of them wants this family anymore. And honestly, I can't blame them sometimes. What's the point? You work for years educating yourself, building, planning, working, loving, and leukemia sweeps through and ravages your 10-year-old son to death. What's the point of any of this? Cancer is terrible, but I can see a clear ploy for sympathy when I see one. Clay goes to the school chapel to harass Liv. Sit, I growl through my teeth, feeling heat rise up my neck as she crashes back into the wooden pew, her jaw flexing. There's no point in denying myself any of this. I'm a bitch, but only to her, and only because it feels so good. Fuck it. Do something for me, I ask her, keeping my voice low as students fill the rows around us and the altar servers light the candles. Move your ass a little faster than my grandmother down the field this Friday, or is that too much trouble? Liv doesn't look at me, just stares ahead as she lets out a quiet little laugh. I haul ass down that field. Relaxing back in her seat, she hangs her elbows over the back of the pew and her shirt creeps up a little. I spot the switchblade she keeps hooked over the waist of her skirt, but hidden on the inside, which only I seem to know about. So far, anyway. She goes on. I'll never understand how a princess who can't pass a ball for shit and brags to anyone who will listen about being a Swiftie, and she does air quotes, even before she went pop, is our team captain. Oh wait, yes I do understand. Daddy is useful when he's there. They talk about stalking each other's Twitter. The tension is so palpable. Is it hot in here, guys? So hot.
This is fine.
Megan comes to save Liv and Clay gets super jealous. Is everything okay? Someone says, snapping me out of it. I turn my head to see Megan Martell standing over us holding a stack of collection baskets. Her blue eyes flip between Liv and me, knowing very well that this isn't a friendly conversation, but lucky for her, this isn't any of her business. Fine, thanks, I reply, my tone a big enough hint she'd have to be an idiot to miss, but she looks to Liv instead. Liv? Excuse me? It's not the name, it's how she says it, like they know each other. Liv must give her some gesture or something because Martell gives me one last look and then slowly leaves, continuing down the aisle toward the back of the church without another word. What the hell is she thinking? Does she want to become my next hobby or something? Instead of having a normal reaction to Clay being a weirdo, Liv gets excited because she sees that Clay has a tattoo on the inside of her middle finger. But she replies, you have a tattoo. Her gaze drifts to my hand and I squeeze my fingers together, covering it. All over again, I feel the needle carve into the inside of my middle finger of my left hand. Fair enough, I've mocked tattoo feminazis, an umbrella term I've tossed her under, when in fact she doesn't actually have any tattoos. Not even the one of her family's little Sonoa Bay gang, the snake in the hourglass that she wears on a bracelet around her wrist. Her brothers all seem to have it inked on them somewhere. This romance is just homophobic Republican douche and the only lesbian who's out in town. How does anyone find this romantic? How did anyone give it a high rating? It has almost 4 stars on Goodreads. And who is this for? It certainly doesn't seem to be for lesbians, with the main character who is so anti-progressive she should be on the Trump cabinet. Do you know how most lesbians feel about Republican, bigoted lesbians? We don't make community with them. We ostracize them for a reason. I hate this book. Clay keeps staring at Liv, saying she looks like one of the warrior girls in one of those futuristic dystopians. Just say Katniss, we all know that's who you mean. Also, Katniss did nothing to deserve this. Liv is like, are you okay? Do you need one of your blue pills? Which I'm pretty sure is anxiety medication. Instead of being grateful that someone actually cares about her despite how vile she is, she says some more unhinged bullshit. I snatch the pack out of her hand and glare at her. If you let her touch you, I bite out, changing the subject, she will live to regret it. I don't even have to leave this seat to ruin her life. Liv looks back at me and I want to get closer, get in her face, because I want a reaction. She won't be able to take it. I growl in a low voice. I will keep going until she can't. I can ruin anyone's life from my phone. It would be fun and easy. You're not embarrassing our team, I finally tell her. Megan was flirting yesterday. There's no way in hell that's happening. She holds my gaze and then draws in a breath, another fucking air of delight written all over her stupid fucking face. I don't like women who chase me anyway, she says. When I want them, they know. Glad to see that Liv has something wrong with her prefrontal cortex, because she's clearly into somebody who is abusive as hell. I think she might need to go to a neurologist. Chapter 4. Liv wakes up from dreaming about Clay and her devil's doorbell is throbbing. She's going to need a referral to a gynecologist too, I see. She also had to let us know what the water levels in her pants are, which was disgusting. Penelope, she's 17. I'm over this. I've been over this for years now. She's straight. I knew that years ago when I first met her, had a crush and couldn't stop thinking about her. And she's cruel. I know that plain as day now. I can't even begin to contemplate what the hell my subconscious is thinking. But hate fucking Clay Collins would be even less fun than bathing in lava. You'd think with a local suicide that was probably the result of bullying, Clay Collins would back off. Allie Carpenter is dead, a queer girl who'd had enough. Is that what Clay wants? What is her problem? Picking up my phone, I check my social media, seeing I picked up a few new followers on Twitter. Run across a trending tweet by Reverend John J. Williamson condemning a young new senator who happens to be homosexual. I shake my head, appeased by the comments on the thread condemning him instead. These guys are always the ones caught in motel rooms with 15-year-old boys. Prick, I retweet. I hope your daughters grow up and have wives, and hit send, and then I check texts. Of course, the only out lesbian in town has to be fighting homophobes, even on the internet. She's not allowed even 1 second of rest. This mirrors the queer community and how they push labor onto lesbians in this essay. Bex tries to call Liv, but Liv only texts, which is a mood. Don't call me, I will not answer unless you are my wife. Her brother Tryst, Trace, has an ex who is still hung up on him, and she's texting Liv inviting her to go to a vintage shop. Liv is actually secretly just a man wearing a lesbian skin and can't hang out with any woman who's not going to touch her, so she ignores this text. Her brothers, Trace and Dallas, are fighting outside, interrupting her very relaxing morning of ignoring people she knows in real life and giving homophobes engagement online. She gets up to yell at them, but before they get any real conversation, Liv is like one of those signs from TJ Maxx that says, but first, coffee. You can tell this was written by someone in Gen X. It's her turn to wash the bedding. She doesn't want to wash everyone's bedding, but her brother, Macon, is just like, have coffee. You'll feel better about it. Communal chores, the abuse. We learn through Liv's brain that she'll do what Macon wants because he raised her. We are reminded that her parents are dead again, in case we forgot.
She's dead!
She is. These are the moments that make life worth living.
living. I know I'm supposed to be taking her parents' deaths seriously, but I can't. If I do, I'll never make it through this book. Macon calls out that Liv applied to Dartmouth without him knowing. She got in. How she got in, I have no idea. You have to send clips of your performances to get into this school. So I don't see how this could possibly happen. But he's mad about it because he thinks her studying theater is useless and he wants her to help the family like he's been doing this whole time. You're the one who pushed me, I tell him, setting the letter down. You wanted me to get out of here. Be someone, you said. Be remembered. That's what you said. I can't help the scowl spreading across my face. Dartmouth is 10 times the school Florida State is, and you're still not happy. It takes me less than 3 seconds to get angry at my family, but Macon just cocks his head, playing with me. And what are you studying at Dartmouth? 18 won't make you an adult, Liv. He stares at me. You still need raising. I was 23 and I still needed raising. Her other brother, Army, comes out to have her take care of his son Dexter because she's the only woman in the house, and all of these characters are misogynist. His baby mama is a deadbeat. I know one way this could have been solved, but we all know Penelope has a breeding kink, so that's not allowed. Despite her whining, Dexter still gets left with her anyway. Macon reiterates that she needs to do something to help the family, especially for $40K a year. Calm down, this isn't The Godfather.
You never take sides against the family.
She sees the headline that he's reading that says they're building a resort on Seminole land. This makes her worry that they'll take their land too. That is a fair fear if you just look at Hawaii and Puerto Rico, literally any of the United States, actually, if you just look at any of that. That's a pretty fair fear to have. I stare at the paper. They can't do this. If the government determines that the land we're on is worth more revenue to the state in their hands instead, Macon tells me what I already know. If it means creating jobs that get the important people reelected, then yes, they can, they will. Here's where Liv gets to be quirky too. She is working out. She's like, my earbuds aren't waterproof and music is the only motivation I have to stay in shape. That and the fact that more exercise means I can eat more guac. What in the white woman shit is this? I just know that she thought that this was the height of culture. I just know she was eating Chipotle and thinking that that was real Latino food. I just know it. Liv puts together that the people trying to build resorts on indigenous land are Clay and Callum's families. She decides to try and figure out if she can use the club key Callum gave her against him. See, this is why I don't understand why he gave it to her. She could go there at any time for any reason. No one in this book could pass an AP class, let alone get into an Ivy League school. They're supposed to have field hockey practice at school, but Christian and Amy don't want to because it's raining, so they just leave to go shopping, which leaves Clay and Liv practicing alone for homoerotic reasons. They do the sport ball. I'm not a sports lesbian, so I don't understand it. But they're ramming into each other a lot and they're pushing each other down onto the ground. Hot. I jam my stick between her legs mid-stride. She stumbles, but before she falls, she grabs onto me and pulls me with her. Shit. She cries out and I grunt and our sticks fall to the wayside as I crash on top of her, my skull damn near hitting hers. Bitch, she blurts out. She tries to shove me off, but I'm sick of her shit. I grapple for her wrists, pin them to the ground, and glare down at her. How desperate for attention are you? I spit out. How shallow and small. I think you like engaging me. You like spending any time you can with me, don't you? She tips her chin up, closing her mouth, but still breathing heavily through her nose, her jaw clenched. A lock of hair, darkened by rain, snakes under her left eye and across her nose. I release her arms, but don't move. Come on, I hover over her, gazing down. Hit me. Then I can hit you back and numb you like you want me to. Bullies are always in so much more pain than they inflict. Her wrists remain pinned to the ground, her stubborn little chin unmoving and her eyes watering. I feel her all the same. My legs around her body, my thighs hugging her, the cool, soft flesh of her wet legs presses against my calves. All of a sudden, my smile falls and I have no ambition to move. An amazing little buzz vibrates under my skin as I become aware of her body underneath mine. Rain hits my skin like darts, but all I feel is the heat of her through our clothes. She isn't moving. Why isn't she trying to get away? I leave her eyes trailing my own down her neck, down her chest, her chilled nipples pressing against her bra and down her stomach, feeling and seeing it shake in the inch between us, betraying the stone in her expression. I shift my eyes back up to hers, a quiet laugh escaping my chest. She's scared of me. She's actually scared of me. But why? Get off, she spits out. I just laugh again, lowering my face to hers a little more. Scared I'll like the position we're in and make a move, I tease, or are you scared you want me to make a move? She pinches her eyebrows together, fucking quiet for once. Come on, it's just like being with a man, Clay, I mock, unable to hide my enjoyment again as I lower my voice to a whisper. You just open your legs. I let my gaze fall to her lips, the wheels in my head starting to turn. She's making no move to leave. I'm not holding her down. You just open your legs, I say again. We lie in the field in full view of anyone who decides to come by, but she doesn't seem worried about that. It's pouring rain. We're alone, just the two of us. And for a moment, I feel my heart stop. I'm just joking, but what if she does let her legs fall open? What will I do? An invisible cord pulls at my hips, urging me to close the distance between us, but I won't. Even if the world falls off its axis and turns upside down, I'll never want her. You make me want to puke, she says quietly. Dirty dyke. All right, we have to take a timeout, guys. This is downright abusive. Any joy I had in Liv giving it right back to Clay has evaporated. These two are vile to one another, but Clay is worse. Why are we writing a romance where one of the characters calls the other slurs? And it just gets worse from here. I was called homophobic slurs in high school, and it's not sexy. It makes you scared for your safety. It makes you look over your shoulder. And just because a conventionally attractive girl is the one saying it does not make this okay or forgivable. Also, pinning women down. What is this? The Colleen Hoover playbook? I'm telling you, these are just men in lesbian skins. Liv shows Clay the key to imply that Callum will not be faithful to her. Clay follows Liv into the school because she wants to know what the key was for. Liv doesn't tell her, but does tell her that her dress is ready unless she wants Liv to mess it up for her. I wouldn't offer to do anything that nice. I would make it frumpier. I would make it put an 80s wedding dress to shame. Liv admits to the key being for a party. Clay jumps to the party being with Megan. Again, no one has any brain cells. They're all out to lunch.
You have a smooth brain. No ridges or lumps or valleys or bumps. All ideas slide right off, like a water slide. Smooth brain, smooth.
Clay is threatening to expose Liv and Megan for being with each other on Twitter. She's threatening and saying like that they're sleeping together so that Liv can get a good grade. She says she's going to post it. She doesn't. Clay also tries to make Liv jealous by implying that she would sleep with Iron or Macon. This is a Penelope Douglas book, so I wouldn't put it past her. I'm not going to read this next bit in detail because Liv is a minor and I'm not disgusting, but Clay has her get naked and writes all over her with like a pen. She's body shaming her, telling her what exercises would fix her body parts. This is horrifying, and I truly feel like she's getting off on bullying Liv. How is anyone supposed to be into this? How am I supposed to be into this? This was certainly not written for lesbians. I will say that as a blanket statement right now. You should thank me, she whispers. Surviving me will give you all the tools you need when you leave me. I look at her through the water in my own eyes faltering. Leave her. Just like your mother left you, she says. Saying this about Liv's mother who committed self-unaliving is despicable. How is there any coming back from this? I'm not going to lie, when I was reading this, I was like genuinely curious about how Penelope is going to try and justify this later. We find out that Clay stole Liv's underwear because she's a creep and she's disgusting, but this is supposed to be sexy. And this doesn't leave Liv feeling particularly sexy either. She knows where to hit, doesn't she? She could do or say anything. She could have my brothers arrested with the slightest accusation. She could have Martell fired. She could probably get Dartmouth to rescind my acceptance letter if she knew about it. All it would take is putting me in the path of scandal or arrest, and Dartmouth would wash their hands of me. She didn't go for those kills though. Putting herself in my house, at my table, in one of my brother's beds. Home wouldn't even be safe for me anymore. Clay is doing psychological damage to Liv. She is making her fear for her future and her family and Megan, who works at the school. This is not romantic. There's supposed to be tension, romantic and sexual, but this just feels uncomfortable. Also, can I remind you once again that she's a minor? Liv drives to the dress shop instead of home and sniffs the fabric of Clay's dress, weird, before ripping it. And I was genuinely excited and punching the air for this part. Good for you, girl.
You go, girl.
Chapter 5, Clay gets home and starts freaking out. I jog quickly past the housekeeper carrying my duffel bag. I dive into my room, slamming and locking the door. Oh, that bitch, I hate her. So calm, so smooth, so patient. I gulp, running my hands through my hair. So beautiful with those tears in her eyes. Keeping the lights off, I drop the bag to the floor and fall into the door. Why did I do that? Tears immediately spill down my face as I squeeze my eyes shut. Too far. You went too far. I never laid my hands on her ever. We are being led to believe that Clay doesn't really think those horrible things about Liv, and that this will turn out to be fine and romantic because she doesn't think those horrible things. Being aware of your abusive actions does not nullify them. She gets in the shower and only then realizes she has Liv's underwear in her hand still. Just not realistic. My eyes burn thinking of all the insane shit I wrote all over her today. How I violated her. She's not ugly. I hated that I couldn't find anything wrong with her and I shouldn't have touched her. It hurt her. I touched her skin and she never said it was okay. My fingertips tingle, still feeling her smooth stomach and arms. I grind the fabric between my fingers, the tornado inside my body raging again like it did when the shame and heartache of having her naked before me raged in the theater. She'll hate me forever now. That's what I want, right? I'd gone too far. I had to. I lie back in the tub, the spray showering down on me, laying my head on my hand. I fist the underwear again and again, my gaze falling into a void in my head where I only see her in here with me, quiet with me, close with me, her head between my thighs. We gotta take a break. I'm trying to make this fun and unserious when I am able, but like, what am I supposed to do with this? This is just an abusive novel. There's nothing but abuse and crime. If you guys want good enemies to lovers recommendations, please let me know. This is normally a trope that I love, but this whole thing is vile. She then decides to get in the DJ booth and is instantly upset that she has never felt this way about Callum. She thankfully stops quickly and resolves to go to Pound Town with Callum instead. I'll fuck him. I'll fuck him a dozen different ways, slow and fast, hard and gentle, and if that doesn't prove anything, I'll find someone else to give it to me. Someone who's good. Someone who knows what to do with me. Someone not her. After a few days, I've convinced myself, as always, that she deserved it. Olivia acted like a bitch, saying that shit about how I could use a brother now that I was down one. What a fucking pig. When her mom went and hung herself 2 months after her father's death, have I ever brought that up? Did I ever use it against her? What I do to her doesn't even come close to how nasty that comment was yesterday. Well, she convinced herself of that real fast. Why do any real self-reflection when you can just shift the blame? She should be Trump's new press secretary. My God, now I'm just gonna picture her. It's Caroline Levitt. Callum calls her and asks where she is. Clay tells him she's picking up her ugly debutante dress. She starts trying to sexually entice him by betting a box of Cuban cigars that he can't get her out of the dress after the ball. They hang up fast and she's at the dress store to pick it up. The lady who owns the shop, Lavinia, wants Clay to try it on one more time. Clay doesn't want to, and she's not wearing the right underwear. She secretly hopes it makes the dress look not ready because it will look weird with her undergarments she has now. But Lavinia wants that money, so she brings her a strapless bra. Clay can't get the bra on by herself. There's no way I'm going to get them connected by just feeling. Help, I call out. I struggle with the clasps, sucking in my stomach and turning around so I can look behind me in the mirror to see what I'm doing. But then the curtain suddenly opens and I see Liv standing there in the mirror. Where's Lavinia? I stop breathing for a split second as she stares at me and I stare at her and I don't know what she's going to do. I look for a Sharpie on her, but I don't see one. I swallow, noticing the faint remnants of Sharpie on her stomach. Where's Lavinia? I ask, stealing my voice. She cocks her head a little and her eyes instantly drop to my panties. The black lace ones. Hers. She's wearing Liv's underwear like some kind of sick serial killer prize. Penelope cannot be serious right now. Clay finally realizes that Liv completely changed her dress up. A laugh bubbles up in my chest, but I hold it in. It's awful and I absolutely adore it. She did this. I contain my smile and look over my shoulder, seeing her watch me with a calm but amused expression. She's waiting for me to react. She did this on purpose. She risked getting fired. Hell, risked the wrath of my mother and grandmother to get back at me for the Sharpie. She wants a rise out of me and she's not going to get it. I couldn't be more pleased. Put it on me, I tell her, almost lightheaded from the high. There's a lot of more ugly flowers and other stuff that's on it now. It's very different now. You get the picture. It sounds very ugly, and to get through this, I'm just going to continue to imagine this dress. That's the only way I'm going to survive. Lavinia sees and is obviously pissed because This was a big client, and they've been working on this for a while now. Clay decides to save Liv by saying she loves it, and Liv did exactly what she wanted. This kind gesture doesn't last long. Liv digs my mom's credit card out of the back pocket of my jeans in the dressing room and shoots me a half-lidded look before disappearing into the lobby. I hear Lavinia's hushed hissing and stand there, trying to hear what she's saying to Jaeger, but I can't. The bitch needs to shut up. I told her I was fine. I mean, it's not. Liv's going to pay for this, and I don't need help punishing her. She's my responsibility. Then Callum shows up, and it's a real party in here. I'm not gonna read this. They're touching, they're feeling, they're doing weird stuff in public. It doesn't go further than like on top of clothes though. Liv walks in and sees. Clay gets really excited about this. Fellas, is it gay if you're wearing the underwear of a girl you have a homoerotic rivalry with and you're getting horny about it? Is it gay? Chapter 6. Liv and Clay are playing field hockey. Yay, sports ball.
And scoop. Oh, wow. Sports.
Clay refuses to rely on Liv, and it's making her big mad. Everyone on the team and their coach is getting frustrated with Clay also. They win anyway though. Yay! Some of Liv's brothers, Trace, Ami, Iron, and Dallas, came to the game and congratulated her. She wants to know where Macon is because that's the only brother she really cares about, but he was busy. She figured that was what was going on anyway. They're going to a restaurant called Mariette's after the game. While leaving, Liv sees Clay alone because her parents didn't show up, and Liv is like, actually, I can't remember the last time her parents came to the game, and wow, I should be less mad at Macon, I guess. It's okay to want your brother to come to games and events, even if someone has it worse than you. It's okay. Goddamn. It's not unusual until I notice our other teammates laughing with friends and getting hugs from proud parents. Don't Clay's parents usually come to the games? Thinking back, I guess I can't remember. Maybe I should be less mad Macon never shows and just be grateful someone does. So your birthday is soon? Army says from the front seat. Huh? He turns his head looking at me. The 29th. It's in a little over a week. I wiggle my eyebrows. What are you getting me? A car? Please say it's a car. A stripper, he replies. Trace and Iron laugh, but I'm not impressed because he's most likely not joking. I have taste you can't afford. What are you talking about? He replies. Flamingo Flows has top-notch ladies. Flamingo Flows employs hillbilly meth heads, I shoot back. Army snorts and everyone laughs, knowing that's all too true, and I sit back shaking my head. But my smile fades a little. They're just joking, but they wouldn't be against it either. Would they suggest getting me a stripper if I were into guys? No, they only feel the need to protect me from men, as if my relationships with women are less of a threat, as if they're not real. They would never let a man give me a lap dance. I think that this isn't just about them not taking lesbian relationships seriously, but also about how men think that if you're a lesbian, you can be one of the guys. The amount of coworkers I would have try to get me to objectify women with them when I first came out was disgusting. Just because lesbians are also attracted to women does not mean that we view women in the same way men do. We don't objectify them. They all go to Mariette's. They let her drink alcohol, which we're going to just breeze on by because who has the time? It's apparently a special night because she scored 4 goals. She got into Dartmouth. Her birthday is coming up. Yada yada. Oh, and also Iron got off on whatever crime he did. If he just does some community service and anger management. They're really living the dream. Liv also mentions that therapy isn't going to work on Iron, which is frightening. She starts thinking about all the things that she's going to miss when she goes to college, which to me just sounds like she's only going to miss her brothers bringing home hookups and dismissing her lesbianism. But if you're going to miss it that bad, you don't have to go. But she immediately follows up by saying in her head that this isn't enough for her. Penelope dumps on us some more about how Liv doesn't remember her dad well and talks about how Macon was already in the military by the time she was old enough to remember anything about him as well. He reminded me of our mother. There was a cloud following them both, and you can still see it in his eyes even now. There's something that wasn't easy for them as it was for the rest of us. And when I was 11 and he hit me, it devastated me more than losing both of my parents within 8 weeks of each other just months earlier. I cried and cried, not because the spanking hurt, but because I felt hated. He hated me. At least that's what I thought until later that night when I found him sitting at the kitchen bar, his head in his hands, and quietly cried in the dark. He never apologized, but he never did it again. And over time, I came to understand that my oldest brother was only 23 that night, and 23 is still so young, that he was suddenly in charge of 3 minors to feed and clothe and a mountain of debt, and the prospect that life would never be more than this for him. That even when we grew up, iron would always be a problem, and Army and Trace would be bringing babies into the world they couldn't support on their own. Macon would be the one everyone turned to because he was the adult. He always took care of us. You always felt lonely in a room with him, but you were never alone, and if we took anything into this world, it was that. We didn't know if he loved us, but he would always stay. Penelope has a weird obsession with men that cannot be explained. She's so obsessed with all of these brothers that she can't even allow Liv to be angry about him hitting her when she was 11 years old after the death of their parents. She also kind of hangs up on the fact that she doesn't know what Macon's out doing. It's super normal for you not to know what he's out doing. You are a child that he has been raising. He's the only one with any kind of discretion, it seems. Everyone else just keeps their affairs out in the open. Boy toy Callum comes into the restaurant with his friends, Milo, Clay's friend, Christian, and Bex, who Liv should be nicer to. Everyone is very PO'd about this, which makes very little sense because their money is as green as everyone else's and they have a lot more of it. I'm not saying you have to like them coming over, but you should still take their money. Aracely, one of her brother's exes, I can't remember which one, doesn't really even matter, starts talking about Liv in Spanish to Army. Liv stands up for herself and says that they aren't her friends, and Aracely says, "You're with them more than you're with us." Liv says, "I'm not one of them." And Aracely is like, "But are you one of us?" And honestly, I don't know why anyone cares what she thinks. She's just another mean girl because Penelope can't write about women. Why does every woman in this story have to be a bitch or some temptress or a combination of both? Liv goes outside because Aracely pissed her off. She goes back to lamenting about how her family will drift apart, which I ask, is that really such a bad thing? You're all terrible people. Maybe you would be less terrible if you were around nicer people. Just a thought. Megan, that assistant coach who works at the school, approaches her. She asks Liv, "What's wrong?" Liv lies and says she doesn't know. Okay, I'm not reading this. They make out together a lot. It's very clear that Liv wants her to be Clay based on the aggressiveness of the situation. Everyone in this situation is wrong. Megan is hooking up with a minor that she has authority over, and Liv is wrong because she just wanted to use Megan to fantasize about Clay. Everyone in this book is a repressed weirdo who can't act normally to save their lives. At least Liv admits that it was a mistake and says that they shouldn't have done that and they're not going to do it again. Good. Liv goes back inside to tell Callum and his friends that they aren't welcome here. She pulls a switchblade on them. Liv makes a bet with them and they play that game where you're stabbing between your fingers really fast and try not to cut yourself in order to get them to leave. It's the dumbest bet I've ever heard in my life. But Clay comes behind her and starts whispering in her ear, panting and moaning to get Liv to mess up. But just then I feel something and that perfume hits me before I even see her. Her hand slides underneath mine and I still, as Clay covers my back, her breath on my ear. "Scared?" she whispers. I almost shove her off, but fine. I forge ahead. "Start the timer," I tell Christian. She brings up the app on her phone, hits the blue button, and I start Clay's hand underneath mine, thinking her presence will make my little heart patter so badly I'll screw up. I'll take that bet. 1 2 1 3 1 4 1 5 1 6 1 6 1 5 1 4. I move the knife back and forth between my fingers faster and faster, my brother's clapping behind me to help me keep time. "Faster," Callum orders. I move faster. 1 2 1 3 1 4 1 5 1 6 1 6 1 5 1 4. Dumb, right? Moving through Clay's and my fingers and back again. The heat from her hand moving through mine and up my arm to my chest. I dig faster and faster and harder, but after a moment, all I feel is her eyes on my neck. I swear she moves closer, inhaling through her nose, smelling me. And that's when I recognize the other scent on her vodka. "Don't stop," she pants. My eyelids flutter as her heart pounds against my arm. The boys clap. Callum, Milo, Bex, and Christian watch the knife. And even though Clay and I aren't alone, it feels like it. They don't hear her words. "I dread the anticipation of pain more than the pain, don't you?" she says in a low voice. "Most people don't know when it's coming. It's worse when you know it's coming." Her voice is soft. It's not like her. What is she doing? "Especially when you know it's there every day," she tells me. I blink long and hard, heat flooding my body as the adrenaline rushes, because if I take my eyes off what I'm doing, I'm going to get hurt but shit looks blurry now. God damn it. The girl is a tail, that's it. She's a gutter human being and good for nothing else. Her eyes linger on me and I watch the timer dropping to 10 seconds left. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 5, 1, 4. Her warm breath hits my neck. Your skin looks like it's on fire, she whispers, and I swear I can feel her tongue. Fuck. I groan, my stomach shaking because she says it like she's in pain. Olivia, she pleads, and my being throbs. My hand trembles and the knife slips, slicing right into the side of my middle finger. Shit. Pain shoots through my hand. I drop the knife and pull away, gritting my teeth. What am I supposed to do with this? This book feels like bad erotica trying to scrape a plot together. But we'll learn really fast that there is no plot, just smut between teenagers. They're doing something called Night Tide, and it's some kind of scavenger hunt thing. I don't really get what the hell it is, but anyway, I'm an actress inside and out. For years, I played my part well, as if everything was according to script, and I knew what was coming. No surprises, but tonight, the snake inside uncoiled, and it felt good. My venom wasn't like hers, so I never thought it was deadly. I'd given Clay too much power for the last 4 years. I smile in the dark. I'm poison. I can be poison too. How am I supposed to take this seriously? You're the poison? Shut up.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
She then whinges about still being attracted to Clay and tries to psychoanalyze it. And it would be fine if she was just into a weird power dynamic kink or a degradation kink or even a cucking kink. But the things that have happened so far in this book are crimes. You cannot have a kink without consent. So everything that's happened is a crime. She gets up from bed because Army wants her to make him lunch to take to work. I would like to remind all of you that he is 28 years old, but Penelope's misogyny runs so deep that all of her men see women as servants. Liv sees that her phone is blowing up, and we are left on a cliffhanger about what's going on. It's the next day. This is more blue than gray, but I wanted a gray lipstick. Whatever. Chapter 7, Clay is at school and her friends are warning her about making Sonoa Bay angry. Have you seen her? Amy asks, swiping her lunch card. Do I care? I follow, swiping mine, tossing it on my tray, and carrying my food to the lunch table. Christian follows, Milo stealing a handful of her fries as he passes. Be careful, Clay, she says. There's a reason Sonoa Bay has survived as long as it has, and a reason our parents don't want us over there. Please, Amy chides her, sitting down next to Callum. That video was priceless. Omega Chi supremacy. I pull my sweater vest off over my head and set it down on the table, pulling my phone out of my bag and checking notifications. Heat dampens my forehead. Posting that video was stupid. Jesus, what was I thinking? I'd just been so fucking hot after seeing her in that car, her sweaty paws all over Megan, that I whipped out my phone and started filming. And then I went inside Mariette's and there was more confrontation. I can't stop thinking about her. I'm always thinking about her. I just want her out of my head. Our money doesn't matter to them, Christian tells Amy. True power doesn't come from money, I bite back, sick of Liv using that excuse as well. It comes from doing things others won't. She threatened us. She challenged us. She brought this on herself. Maybe. And maybe I kind of went too far. I was angry when I came home last night, so I went to Wind House and worked on Mr. Green's makeup and watched Gates stitch a gash from a car accident victim that the morgue forgot to do. But by 1 o'clock in the morning, it was still festering, so I just posted it. Fuck it. It was a reflex, a close your eyes and just do it moment that I quickly regretted. But what did she think was going to happen? I won't stop. I don't know why, but I can't, and I know she knows that. In fact, this should have gotten a lot uglier a long time ago. What was I supposed to do? Just let her go? Just stop? I haven't seen her all morning, but I know she'll show up at some point. Maybe tomorrow with her head up, refusing to speak to me, taking the high road and not giving me the satisfaction of her attention and all that bullshit. But then I hear Christian say, Clay, and before I have a chance to turn around, someone shoves me and I stumble, nearly falling. I spin around, spotting Liv just as her palm whips across my face. I whimper, my head jerking to the side and the tendon in my neck screaming. I tumble to the floor, shooting out my hands to catch myself. Ooh, someone howls. Bitch, Amy shouts. My cheek burns like it's on fire, but I shake my head clear and climb back to my feet. Amy rushes Liv, but I dart out and yank her back, shoving Liv in the chest. Come on, I yell. This is between her and me. Fucking finally. Her eyes are like lightning, and she looks like she wants to take a bite out of me. I growl, charging her. She crashes into a table, grabbing juice and throwing it at me, me before we spill to the ground. My claws dig into her skin and her fingers are ripping my hair out of my scalp as we go at each other. Hitting, tearing, squeezing, and raging. I want to cry. I'm so happy. This is all I want. Everything I want. I don't want to ever do anything else. Cheering fills my ears. She rolls on top of me and I don't see anything but her. I only feel her. Honestly, good for Liv. I don't know why she hasn't been swinging more from the start. Unfortunately, Clay has some kind of fetish and is thrilled with all of this. That just means that Liv will have to hit her harder next time. The cut at the corner of my mouth stings. I tongue it, slouching in the wooden chair as I gaze past Father McNeilty's empty seat in his office. God, it's better than a drug. The feeling swirling in my gut and my heart pounding like I'm dangling 100 feet in the air, only holding on by a single hand. She's better than a drug. I always knew she had it in her. If you ever come near me again, Olivia grits through her teeth in the chair next to mine, I will cut you. I look over at her. The orange juice she threw at me stains her white pillow too. But I almost smile seeing the tear in her sleeve. I fought back, didn't I? Cut me, I taunt, watching her as she watches me graze my hand up the inside of my thigh, dragging up my school skirt. Where? I pretend to rub myself, moaning. Her mouth twists into a snarl. Cunt. I turn away, smiling to myself. Dyke. That was said in her head, by the way. Sitting up straight, I hold up my nails, inspecting the damage. It took 3 teachers to pull us off each other. My only regret is that she didn't start this shit after school when we wouldn't have been interrupted. I'm in every bit as good of shape as she is. This could have gone on for hours. The second bell rings, and now we're officially late for 5th period. Where the hell is he? They're going to research it, you know, Liv says, and I can see her looking at me out of the corner of my eye. Find out where the video came from, and when I take this online with my receipt, the entire fucking world will be calling for your head, especially since I'm only 17. Fuck, I forgot about that. She's a minor. I pick at the chip red nail polish, ignoring the skip in my heartbeat. And who will believe you? I turn my head, meeting her dark eyes under her long black lashes. I'm Clay Collins, blonde and just like a bomb. Everything the administration loves to parade around in their recruitment brochures. Her eyes narrow. I look her up and down. And you're a dumpster rat, probably looking forward to a long and illustrious career turning tricks on the dirty floor of her shitty house. Olivia launches out and grabs me by the back of the neck. I gasp. I clutch the arms of the chair for support as she pulls us face to face, and I hard my jaw looking into her eyes. Brown lights up with flecks of gold as she glares at me, and I can smell the peaches in her long black hair. My heart pounds so hard, yes, like a fucking drug. They wish they were Griddlehark so bad. Tamsin Muir could make this book good, but Penelope could never even understand the locked tomb, let alone write it. The teacher tells them that the principal is busy with the mayor, so they should go change and then go directly to class. What do they do instead? Get really weird in the locker room. You know, I tell her, fumbling with a clean shirt, if you didn't want everyone to see, then maybe you shouldn't have been practically fucking her in public. We weren't fucking, she growls, glaring at me. As you and everyone else clearly saw, I guess if I didn't want people filming, I shouldn't have expected as much as some simple manners from a stupid, useless cow. I slip my arms into my shirt. Stupid, useless, but I pull it back off and throw it at her. This should fit your fat tits. Take it. She catches it and I yank another shirt out of the cabinet, making sure it's a small. She sets the shirt in her locker, checking her face in the mirror that hangs on the inside of the door. A trickle of dried blood coats the ridge of her ear, and I try not to look as she wipes it clean. A tiny pang of guilt hits me, but I push it away. She made me bleed too, didn't she? It's not my fault she has to line metal up her ear with all her dumb piercings. She came at me first. I lick the cut at the corner of my mouth again, glancing over and watching her throw the bloody wipe on the ground, her lips twisted in anger. She brushes down her blue, green, and black plaid skirt as chills spread across my body. She tightens her high ponytail, fluffing up the messy hair and smoothing out the loose tendrils that hang around her ears, the posts and small rings there glinting in the lights as the flesh of my nipples hardens. I can't look at her, but I see everything. She stops moving and lets her head fall, both of us breathing in sync, quiet and alone, but so crowded. Why do you want to hurt me? She asks, her voice suddenly soft. I don't blink. Why? Why? My chin trembles, because at least it's something. At least I have that. Penelope can't even explain her own character's reasonings. Oh my god. Liv tells Clay that it's going to take a lot of pull to keep Clay from being attacked by her brothers for uploading that video. Clay is like, I deleted that video. They can't trace it back to me. But Liv has re-uploaded the video and calls Clay's bluff because she does know that she's secretly afraid of Tryst Six. Liv is then like, say you're afraid, which is something else. Also, I just want to bring to everyone's attention that the taking of the video of an out lesbian making out with someone in a car was directly stolen from Scream the TV series. I was a huge fan of that show when it was coming out, and even now, I know exactly where you stole that from, Penelope. You're afraid because your life is sad and you want to gut anything that's different. Her breath falls on my lips and I feel a light layer of sweat cover my back. Anything that makes you feel strong, because at least it's not dull and it's too painful not to feel, isn't it? You're afraid of me because someday you're going to wake up and remember that that video is still there, but I'm not, am I? I'm gone, living, and you're not, because your brain is still in the fucking gutter. A sob lodges in my throat. My body shakes. She shakes her head at me. You're just afraid. I'm not afraid, I tell her but I swallow, pushing the word back down my throat. Tears fill my eyes, and I tighten every muscle in my body, forcing myself to get my shit together. I'm not reading the awkward sex scene where one of them is a minor, so I'll give you the rundown, okay? They're bumping and grinding, literal. They're using thighs. They're kissing. Clay's bean is throbbing. Again, go to the doctor. Liv is like, are you serious right now? Because she's been bullying her this whole fucking time. And Clay is like, we have to stop. But Liv is like, no, that is not how consent works there, buddy. They keep kissing. They start pulling clothes off. Then their clams start touching while standing up, which I've tried to figure out how they would even do that. But I gave up because I don't want to think about minors having sex with each other. There's rubbing, behind grabbing, more kissing while standing against the lockers. Liv tells Clay to come to her house tonight, and Clay is like, yeah. She literally says, yeah, I'm not even joking. Someone comes into the locker room, so Clay pushes Liv off her. Clay chastises herself for being stupid because they could have gotten caught, which is true. The two girls who came into the locker room are obviously Amy and Christian. Christian asks if Clay's okay because the last time she saw her was when Clay was with Liv outside of the principal's office. Clay says that it was a piece of cake. Amy is then a lesbophobic piece of shit and tells Liv that they don't want to change while she's there. Someone clears their throat and I blink, seeing Amy turned toward Olivia. Would you mind? Amy asks her. Liv looks over her shoulder at her. I don't feel comfortable changing in front of you, Amy exclaims. I clench my jaw, but Liv remains silent. It's on the tip of my tongue to dull the embarrassment for Liv and tell Amy no one wants to look at her pancake nipples, but I don't. Liv stands there for a minute as if waiting for something, but I just ignore her and finish touching up my face. Her locker door slams closed and I jerk, seeing her move out of the corner of my eye and walk toward her. She strolls past, knocking my shoulder with hers as she goes. Don't cross the tracks. And then she's gone, her threat hanging in the air as the locker room fills with the PE class coming in. I almost laugh. She's rescinding her invitation for night tide, I guess. Lucky for her, I love getting on her bad side. I can't tell if Clay is a sadist or a masochist. I wouldn't care if she was either. You do you, whatever. We all have our thing, right? But she can't keep doing this stuff without consent.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
If this was labeled as a romantic thriller or a romantic horror, I would not have the same problems with this book as I do overall. Chapter 8, we're stuck with Clay again for this chapter. She's helping with an event for her sorority. It still blows my mind that there are sororities in high school. It seems to be a more private school thing. We definitely did not have them in public school, but my wife also said she did not have one in her private school either, so I'm not sure. She has to look down on Liv because what else would she do? Actually live in the moment, think about herself? No. The best athletic equipment, the highest quality organic food in the cafeteria, the most state-of-the-art science lab, on-site tutors, language learning, counseling, and college prep. Liv Yeager benefits heavily from the people she loves to look down on. Her family makes no donations, and although our tuition is steep, it would never be enough to cover the overhead Marymount incurs if you figure in utilities, taxes, salaries, staff. These women here, however shallow to her, are necessary for the success of the school that helped her get into fucking Dartmouth. I head to the back of the banquet hall and retrieve my backpack from one of the dressing rooms, dinging out some jean shorts and a t-shirt. So high and mighty she is. Maybe if she ever acted a little more grateful. She brought that video on herself, so why do I regret posting it? I can't look at the comments online and what they're they're saying about her. That's why I took it down in the first place. I just wanted her to see that I had Meghan Martell's life in my hand. I wanted Liv to know that she wasn't powerful, that I am. But really, I was just angry, jealous. I want her, I can't have her, and I'm angry that I can't have her. So I take it out on her. We are so deep in the closet, we're finding Christmas ornaments. Clay tries to sneak out, but her grandma sees her and asks to talk with her. You knew I'd sneak out, I say. That's why she's sitting out here. It's night tide. She threads my hair through her fingers, and I hear laughter pour out of the banquet room. I remember being unable to stand the anticipation when I was your age. Mimi is still my age. She just hides it well. So what's on the agenda tonight? She asks. I shrug. A standard scavenger hunt, maybe some burgers. I used to love spending time with my mother's mother more than I did my actual mother, but I started to enjoy it less the older I got. Mimi is the reason my mom is the way she is. I guard my words because even though I may admire her ruthlessness, I also know I'm not safe from it. My grandmother is the most dangerous person I know. Be back home at a decent hour. She caresses my hair. It's not right for your mother to be home alone so much. She's never home, I tell her. Mimi takes my chin and tips my eyes up to her. A great deal has been asked of you in your young life, but you need to see the strength that's building too. Her gentle eyes don't do enough to disguise the stern gaze underneath them. Not enough to be a burden, Clay. You need to be a comfort. And if you don't like that, that's too bad. You get in line. Your family needs you. I almost nod. As always, it's better to just agree with my elders because arguing wastes time and I'm going to do what I want to anyway. But something slips out of me that I don't feel like curtailing tonight. A family doesn't live in that house anymore. She thins her eyes, holding me closer. Don't let them see, she says in a low tone. Who? Everyone who is waiting with bated breath to see you unhappy. She releases me and tips her chin up, straightening her back. Don't give that to them. I've never given that to them. I never let my friends know how I hate being home, how my parents barely know each other anymore, how they barely know me. But I'm tired of the facade, and for a few stolen moments this week, I got a glimpse of what life was like without it. I was too high to reach. I spot a cardboard tube on the table, Biscayne Bay, written on the label featuring my father's letterhead. Biscayne Bay, he's working on a development called Palm Biscayne, somewhere on our coast, but I've never heard of Biscayne Bay, not Sanoa Bay. The gears in my head turn and I'm afraid to ask. Nothing happens in this town without going through my grandmother. I'm not sure I want to know. I was joking with Liv about Sanoa Bay being leveled for a golf course because it's been a threat since we were born. No one ever thought it would actually happen. I tuck this suspicion away for a moment and smile up at her. We can't all be as strong as you, Mimi. You see what I want you to see. Her eyes fall away from me, something else playing behind them. Every woman has her secrets, Clay, she tells me. We all have our own sins, and I'm not special. You can have whatever you want, as many times as you want, for however long you want. She nudges my chin again. As long as it stays a secret. So we can already tell that Mimi has some secret because this conversation is very obvious. Don't strain yourself thinking too hard about this book. Penelope is here to hold your hand every step of the way. I was hoping she was also a lesbian, but we had no such luck. Don't you guys know that older lesbians don't exist? Clay catches Iron outside and she has to take a selfie for the school scavenger hunt, and he's like, no, I know who you are. Which honestly, mood. Clay then pretends that she's going to hitchhike because she wants to go see Liv, and he doesn't want to give her a ride. He's annoyed but knows that hitchhiking is dangerous, so he offers her a ride on his motorcycle anyway. He's a pushover. Callum, Christian, and Milo see her and are like, come with us, but Clay is like, nah, I gotta ride. They follow her and Iron in the car. Clay is having a grand old time giggling, and she thinks about how her little brother would have loved this. Liv cruises up next to them and tells Iron to get Clay off of the bike and that this isn't a joke. Clay takes this opportunity to be thirsty again and describes Liv's clothes to us. I still have no idea what these people look like. A Toyota pulls up beside Iron, I'm assuming on the other side, and it has Iron's angry ex-girlfriend in it. I hop off his bike, claiming I'm behind Liv instead. Get off, she yells, trying to shake me. But I wrap my arms around her, feeling the switchblade hook onto her jean. Scared of me, she breathes out a laugh. I'm sick of you getting your way, she mumbles, more like she's arguing with herself than me. What the fuck do I care if Araceli rips out all your hair? Honestly, I wish that Araceli would. Instead, we have to listen to this and pretend that there's tension. Clay info dumps about the neighborhood. It's not important, so we're skipping it. Clay says she needs a condom from the restroom at Mariette's. Clay wants to know what is on Sanoa Bay's list for this stupid scavenger hunt. but Liv won't tell her. Clay goes into the bathroom, it's disgusting, and there are also 2 people having sex in one of the stalls. I tip my head toward the condom machine, snapping a selfie as proof I was here, and then pull some change on my bag. So is Iron Signal? I ask as I put away my phone. Or is that girl in the pickup still claiming status? She hoods her eyes. I slide my change into the machine and twist the old lever, the moaning from the stall growing heavier and louder. You didn't tell them, did you? I ask her. On one hand, you'd think she'd want to send all the muscle she could after me, or find some way to embarrass my family by broadcasting my behavior. But on the other hand, I understand why she didn't. And I'd relied on that when I posted the video. Reporting me would only draw more attention to her, and Liv doesn't play the victim. Ever. I pull the condom out of the machine and tuck it into my bag. It wasn't that bad, I tell her, continuing to defend myself, and I don't know why. They didn't recognize Martel. They recognized me, she retorts. So why put the video back up? Because fuck you, that's why. I stare at her, despising that I don't have a comeback. Was that what the locker room was all about? She moves in closer. You had somebody filming me? We're both 5'7", but she feels taller somehow. Like she hasn't been thinking about it in the same way I have. Or maybe you came tonight to try and get me into the same position, she says, so you could humiliate me some more. She thinks it was a ploy, kissing her in the locker room. She doesn't think it was real for me. Yeah, it's that easy with a queer, isn't it? She taunts. You think I'm going to drop down and thank my lucky stars to fuck anything pretty, anytime, any place, right? Because I'm desperate. Because gays are hypersexual. Is that it? I don't know. You seem pretty into it, I whispered. It is absolutely crazy work to have a line about hypersexualizing LGBT people and then fill this book with 85% sex. Like, it gets to a point where they can't even have a conversation with each other. I am not joking. So Liv reveals that the only thing on the Sonoma Bay list is Clay. So she has someone pick Clay up to bring to her brother, Macon. And Clay starts freaking out about it, yada yada. Chapter 9, they bring Clay to Macon at a bar. All the brothers seem to be there. I just have to mention that Trace flips his hat around backward, like it makes him tough. I don't know how I missed that on my initial read. It was ridiculous. Santos flops Clay over and drops her on the old sofa, the brat shooting up, her eyes spitting daggers. I lean back against a work table, ready for the show. She deserves this. I can't believe I dropped my guard in that locker room. She just felt so good. I watch her, every muscle primed and ready, and the fire in her eyes. God, she felt good. But she's not good. Emotions just bottled up over years without any outlet, and I was finally able to take them out on her. And I guess it didn't matter how. That's all that was. We keep having these same conversations about how she wants her but can't have her, or she shouldn't want her at least. Whether this is Clay's POV or Olivia's, we are trapped in this never-ending nightmare. If you like this book, good for you, I guess, but you cannot pretend it is well written. This book could have been 250 pages tops. Clay's friends also show up. Macon is like, get them out of here. Callum is like, Liv said we were welcome. Macon doesn't care about that. Amy tries to pull Clay away, but Clay refuses to go. 2 things can happen here, Clay says as everyone listens. 1, we can refuse to leave because we don't really have to. This isn't your property. Not for long anyway. Tryst's 6 days are numbered. Macon turns and listens, his gaze calm. So, out of anger, she continues, which is all you really have. You'll kill me and then the rest of us, so there are no witnesses. Trace and Army laugh under their breath, a few of the other guys joining them. But it's not completely impossible. The swamp cooks bodies down to a stew in no time, and Clay knows the stories out here. Or 2, you'll rough us up, she tells him. We'll complain to our parents and a shitstorm will consume Sonoma Bay, risking lots of unwanted attention on your business. She does a little air quote thing because she knows those stories too. The rumors of how Macon and Army sold to the college kids Oxy, Molly, Adderall to make ends meet after our parents died. I never asked if it was true, and I never will. Macon doesn't allow drugs in our house or in Sonoma Bay, but I also know he'd do anything to feed us. Either way, it's not good for you, Clay goes on, because the power you have is an illusion, because you have no and never will have any money. I do not know where she gets the confidence, but she is not that bright. Maybe being an idiot gives you the ability of unearned confidence. Macon decides to call her bluff and is going to push her face into the spoke of a motorcycle that is up on a cinder block and running. I watch my chest rising and falling and my stomach roiling. I force away the feelings. I remember from the locker room when I let myself think for a minute that her desire was real. She deserves this. I still haven't gotten all the Sharpie off my body, and I will never be free of that video of Megan and me. Clay has terrorized me for years. She brought this on herself. You won't do it, I hear her say. The question is, he looks at her. Do I have to? Does Liv have to deal with you when you know your grandmother and the old sheriff had a hideaway out at Two Locks where they would meet for long afternoon hours? Clay remains silent and I want to move closer to see her face. Did she know that? I know things about her family that could have shut her fucking face up years ago. When Garrett Ames was found with his 16-year-old stepdaughter in a hotel room last May and quietly paid for it all to go away, Macon continues. Or when your mother had a little procedure done before Christmas to take care of an unwanted pregnancy. I can see Clay breathing harder. You're right, he tells her. Money is power. But do you know what's more valuable? Secrets. He jostles her. Secrets are power, honey. There's a reason we've survived here, keeping the wolves at bay as long as we have. He gets in her face. We may be your maids and your dishwashers and your pool boys, but we are always there. For smart, you're really good at stupid. Grandma's tea was not that fun. I was really hoping she was also a lesbian, like I said, but instead she was just having an affair with a pig. Ugh. Clay remains a dumbass and starts goading Macon to do it and to shove her face into the spoke. Liv tells us in her brain that Macon doesn't want to hurt Clay and that Clay isn't worth the jail time. I would argue that he does want to hurt her, at least psychologically, but he also doesn't want to go to prison. Liv tells Macon that they want the Seminole flag from the lighthouse for their stupid scavenger hunt. Macon decides to let them try and capture the flag. While Clay and her posse are leaving, Macon tells Liv that if she loses their flag, she loses Dartmouth. He says that she's old enough to know better than this, and honestly, yeah. Also, it's heavily implied that he's going to be the one paying for her Ivy League education, so I don't understand why she keeps, like, making him angry. So now Liv is off to go after the flag. Woo. Chapter 10. Clay's friends are all asking if she was okay, and Clay says that it was fun because she's edgy like that.
I will watch the crimson blood leak from your neck.
Dude, that little kid is hardcore goth.
Clay isn't actually planning to go up to the lighthouse. They're going to steal the flag from Liv's house. Everyone is super excited about burglary in a way only rich white children who have never experienced consequences for their actions can be. What a dump, Amy grumbles. If I lived here, I'd want to kill myself too. Liv's mom comes to mind, all of us knowing she died in this house. The story was she hung herself in the shower. Was Liv in the house at the time? We have to get so serious for a second, okay? There are so many dismissals of Liv's mom, including by Liv, about what she was going through. She had just lost her husband, she had been battling depression for a very long time, and poverty probably didn't help any of that. She had 6 freaking kids. Who knows about postpartum depression? The reason I'm bringing this up again isn't because one character said something disparaging about self-unaliving. It's because the narrative itself looks down on Liv's mom, so you can tell that it is something that the author believes. It doesn't make the narrative dark or edgy. It reflects on the author and their thoughts about self-unaliving and the people who do that to themselves. Sorry that we have to keep stopping and getting serious, but this book is just genuinely terrible. So bad. Clay and her friends steal some beer from their refrigerator is nothing sacred. They're tracking mud everywhere, which we all know Liv will have to clean up like Cinderella later. Milo is trashing the place and Clay doesn't care because Macon almost killed her, as if she hadn't started this whole thing to begin with, and like she wasn't egging him on the whole time. Clay creeps on the pictures on the wall of Liv's family like a weirdo. She's trying to find one of Liv's, but her parents obviously died when she was young, so there aren't many, like her brothers didn't keep up taking the pictures. Clay goes into Macon's bedroom to steal the flag. Callum wants to sleep with her on Macon's bed. Callum grins wide, snapping a picture. God damn. Before I can get up, he comes down on top of me. I freeze, and his mouth is on mine before I know what to do. We have to get out of here, I tell him, squirming. No, you've got to say yes, he tells me. I have a picture of you on a much older man's bed now. What will your parents think? Is that blackmail? He pushes my shirt up and sucks on my breast through my bra so hard that my spine steals, my alarm raising. Callum, I warn, pushing at him. But instead of getting off me, he licks the skin on top of the bra, trailing kisses all over my chest. I bare my teeth, fisting his shirt. What will my parents think of doing business with Garrett Ames once they find out he's R-ing his teenage daughter? Callum halts and I almost smile despite the shudder in my body. Did he really think he could pull this shit with me? Who else has he victimized? He pushes off, rises from the bed, and looks down at me like I'm the enemy now. Well, 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 he muses. You just got interesting. To be honest, his sister probably thinks she's a willing participant, but the man is in his early 50s, and we all have skeletons. I can throw a punch, same as Callum. I will have you, Clay. His tone has an air of finality to it, and an edge of a threat he's never spoken to me with before. Yeah, you just got interesting. I honestly think that they deserve each other. They both belong in the pits of hell together. But it's also so funny to me that Clay hasn't considered being a lesbian at all, even though she does everything in her power not to sleep with guys, including the guy she is seeing and the one she claims is so attractive. Clay considers going into Liv's room, but she decides she doesn't want to be snooping when she wasn't invited. You literally broke into her house. What is the difference? Someone knocks on the door and it's Megan looking for Liv. Clay gets angry and jealous instantly, even though she doesn't think it's jealousy. But then we hear her voice. Liv, a woman's voice calls, anyone home? I go, still recognizing the voice. Megan. What the hell is she doing here? Amy whispers. Liv? She knocks again. I ball my fist, jerking my head at Amy and sending her to the kitchen. I follow, moving backward down the hall and keeping my eyes on the door. Son of a bitch. No wonder Liv hasn't tried for more with me in the days since the locker room. No wonder. She and this bitch are going at it happy as clam. I shake my head. That bitch. Shielded in the shadows of the stairs, I only hold back a moment before I say, come in, and hope she doesn't recognize my voice. I slip into the kitchen. Amy lurks on the other side of the fridge, hiding herself as I keep the lights off. I don't know what I'm going to do, but Megan Martell sure as shit won't be here when Liv gets home. The door opens. Liv, she calls out again. Hello? I kick one of the chairs at the table, hoping she'll follow the noise, and then I park half my ass on the table waiting for her. She rounds the corner, coming into view, and I let my eyes trail down her skirt and legs and wonder if she's wearing any underwear. She's dressed to get laid, and my anger rises. What did they have planned tonight? She sees me and stops. She takes a step back. Team meeting? I ask. It's kind of late. Amy steps away from the refrigerator and I see Megan's back go straight, her guard up. It fucking should be. Go get Christian, I tell Amy. She leaves and Megan searches the walls for a light, asking, what's going on? But I speak up before she can find it. You tell me. Tears burn my eyes. What are you doing to her? Am I next? Do you watch us in the showers? What? Vomit rises up in my throat. I hate all the shit coming out of my damn mouth. Megan isn't bad. She's weak and a little annoying, but she hasn't hurt Liv. If anything, Liv was in control in that video. And that's why I took it down. I couldn't stand it. Liv was into it in the car with her. So into it, and it hurt. She raises her chin. I'm going to tell Father McNeilty tomorrow and report you. I laugh. The bitterness choked through the tears that she can't see in the dark. Please do. You'll have to tell him why I'm so angry with you and what you're doing at a student's house late on a Saturday night. Then he's going to find out it was you in the sex tape with her, and you will never get another job again. Screw you, Clay, she yells. I have family too, and they're not the Jaegers who you think you can bully. Stay away from her or else. Or else what? She fires back. You going to take another video of us? Well, enjoy yourself, because when she graduates and I go to college in New York in the fall. Oh, did she tell you about Dartmouth? As luck would have it, we'll be that close to each other. And she gets in my face, taunting me. And then I can fuck her every weekend where you can't get a hold of her. My eyes go wide, burning. We'll be gone and we'll laugh about how sad you were. She laughs. Or are. I grit my teeth together. You don't deserve her attention, she says, and pretty soon she won't think of you at all. I slam my hands into her chest and she crashes into the wall next to the doorway. She cries out, falling to the ground, and I spot the trash can next to her and grab it. I hesitate a moment, a sob stretching my throat so tightly it hurts. Fuck it. I lift it high and dump everything on her head, and she screams as remnants of gumbo and chicken noodle soup smear all over her. Clay, she cries. I drop the can and clutch her jaw in one hand and the back of her neck in another, bringing her face up to mine. Look at me, I grin out. Look at me. She raises her eyes, whimpering. Stop. Shut up, I say, tears welling in my eyes because I know I'm losing. I'm going to lose her forever. Her team spots her. Do you understand? And then I lower my voice, pressing my forehead into hers. I spot her. If I have to repeat myself again, I will do damage you can't come back from. She is 17, a minor, and mine. Megan coughs and needles prick my throat because she doesn't deserve this, but it can't happen. Megan doesn't deserve her, and Liv doesn't get to have someone. She doesn't get to forget about me. She stares at me, clearing her throat as something crosses her eyes. You want her, she pants. That's what this is about. Oh my god. Tears spill. You're and I throw her down, ready to hit her until she can't say the words loud enough for anyone to hear her. What the hell? Someone bellows. I look up, seeing Liv standing in the doorway as I hover over Megan on the floor. Liv runs up, flipping on the light. She takes in Megan and me and dives down to pick up her friend. Megan shivering like a scared rabbit as she grapples onto Liv. Liv turns to me. What the hell is the matter with you? Her brothers spill into the house behind her, and I grab the flag from the table and bolt out the back door into the yard. Patting my hand over my mouth and singing, I dance into the forest. I got the flag. I call out, come and get it. I dart back toward the village and Callum's car, but in moments Liv is on my tail. I feel something muddy hit the back of my knee, and I'm on the ground, flipping onto my back and looking up at her. She comes down, pinning my wrist to the ground. Get me off the ground, I order. In the dirt where you belong, she spits out. You've never been uglier to me. How could you do that to her? What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't answer, clenching my teeth so my chin doesn't quiver. I know she's right. The walls close in, and sometimes I feel like I want to die. That money and that house don't make you clean, she says. They just provide a shield of defenders who are only there because they hope to get something out of you. They don't love you. No one loves you. She rises and I pause, her words sinking so deep I can't breathe. In a fog, I climb to my feet. What, am I supposed to treat you like glass because you have a dead brother? She bites out, I'm supposed to make an exception for your behavior even though a toddler has better fucking manners than you do? I clutch the flag in my fist as she advances on me and backs me into a tree. I swallow your shit, she growls, her cheeks flushed, because you're not important enough to spare an effort, but I've reached my limit. I'm tired of hearing that I'm not good enough, that I deserve to be treated like garbage because of who I am or where I come from or who I want to be with. I blink away the tears, stealing my jaw, that I can't have that, or that's not for me, or I'll never have that life, she continues. A lifetime of being told I'm wrong for your world, of not seeing myself in your school hallways and represented in your town. You won't find what you're looking for in the backseat of your car either, I grit out. She nods, looking like she has more to say, but deciding that it's not worth it. She looks at me, several breaths passing before she drops her gaze and murmurs, or at Marymount, I guess. I narrow my eyes. What does that mean? She's been there almost 4 years. She's all of a sudden realizing she doesn't fit. Hey, that was a crime. Megan shouldn't have done anything with Liv. We've been over this because of age difference and power dynamic, but this is a crime. Assaulting someone because you are jealous is not sexy. Are we in the Twilight Zone? Also, I don't understand what Clay's dead brother has to do with this. Were you letting her bully you because it was in his memory? Was her brother the #1 bully? I need to know ASAP. Was he bullying other elementary school students? So an alligator almost gets them while they're in the middle of this fight, and we were so close to experiencing a Clay-free world. That alligator was channeling my spirit, and he was so close to rescuing us all. Chapter 11, we're with Clay again, and she's stalking Liv's social media, but Liv hasn't posted anything new. Clay is mad that Liv is refusing to acknowledge her at all. We also have to hear about how Liv is legal now because it's her birthday. Pour one out for Liv's childhood, guys. Also, this fixation with like once you're legal, it's fair game is so gross to me. Like, you're still a child. I work with kids in this age group. They're still very much children the second they turn 18, I promise. Clay's mom tells her that her and her dad are going to be at Clay's game that weekend. She smiles. You don't have to be nervous. I cock an eyebrow looking away. It's an away game about an hour from here. I'm surprised he'll be home. You still like us coming to your games, she tells me. A lot of things were different then. I shift on my feet. Now I just like you both to stop pretending you're married for the cameras. I might like it if they pretended for me a little, but hey. She stops moving, the elliptical sinking to a resting position and her body along with it as she looks at me. I keep going. I think we can agree the facade is downright painful anymore, isn't it? What does anymore mean? What was that sentence? Also, as someone who pushed for my parents to get divorced in high school, I approve this message. Unfortunately, Clay is disgusting for not only bullying her mother, but internally side-eyeing her mother for getting an abortion right after this. Clay leaves and drives to school. Clay puts a little bouquet in Liv's locker, like that's going to make up 4 years of bullying. I stick the pencil through the slit in the vent of Liv's locker, the yellow paint on the wood scraping off as I shove it through. Hanging from the inside, the little bouquet dangles down the outside of her locker, a few of the pretty white petals floating to the ground. She probably doesn't like flowers. She'll probably think it's a prank and rip them off and throw them away, but maybe she'll think they're nice, whoever they're from. Something for her birthday, because she didn't didn't get flowers or cards or candygrams like the rest of us on Valentine's Day, and I'd hated seeing that. Maybe she would have gotten those things if you hadn't been fostering a homophobic environment. And it's not even internalized homophobia because she's been externalizing it this entire time. God. Clay has the flag with her and she thinks about bringing it to the theater department to give back to Liv. Amy and Chris Jen keep asking how she's doing because it's about to be the 4th anniversary of Henry's death, but Clay wants to ignore all of her feelings about it so she can pretend she doesn't know what they're talking about. Why lean on your friends and make community? She hates women, so she can't imagine opening up to them. She's giving Patricia Highsmith. If you know, you know, fellow lesbians. Liv hasn't been around all day and it's eating Clay up inside. I step forward. What's going on? Where is Jaeger playing now? Coomer turns her eyes on me, looking almost hesitant. She's withdrawn from the team. What? Nothing's wrong. Coach reassures. Don't worry. She starts to leave, but I jump off the treadmill, stopping her. Hey, wait a minute. She just quit? You're joking. Coach turns and looks around at the 3 of us other girls faltering in their workout to listen. She's finishing the school year from home, Coach announces. My stomach drops. What? Like how? But Coach just looks at me, replying calmly, well, what did you expect, Clay? And I fall silent because my behavior hasn't escaped anyone's notice, it seems. Coach looks like she's surprised Olivia Jaeger lasted as long as she did under the circumstances. Coach leaves, her question hanging in the air, and Amy rushes to my side. Oh my God. She actually left school? Christian joins in. Amy's eyes smile and a lump swells in my throat. I turn away, pretending to look at my phone. The world spins in front of me, static in my vision, and I'm going to scream if I don't get out of here. I don't have anything to prove. I don't know why I ever thought I did, especially to you. This is what she meant when she told me to take care of myself. If it weren't for me, she'd be here. She'd be happy. So the coach was fully aware of the bullying but did nothing. Unfortunately, based on my high school experience, that is pretty accurate. God, American schools are a nightmare. Liv shows up when Clay is in the shower, which is mental, but all of a sudden the rings on the shower rod slide together again. I pop my eyes open, spin around, and see Liv stepping into the private stall with me. My heart leaps as she closes the curtain behind her and approaches me, holding her towel to her body. For a moment, I'm flooded with relief. She's here. She didn't leave. I find my voice confident again and refusing to smile, even though I want to. What the hell are you doing? I whisper. Get out now. I reach for my towel to cover myself, but in one swift movement, she pulls hers off her body and knocks my hand away, all in the same shot. I stare down at her naked body. The wind leaves my lungs. There's not wind in your lungs. Whatever. My chest caves and I barely notice her backing me into the wall as she tips her head back and wets her hair. Streams of water cascade down her golden skin. I can't breathe as it spills over her breasts and dips off the hard little points. My clit pulses as I hate her all over again. She meets my eyes, smoothing back her hair, and approaches me until her nipples brush mine. I can't think and I can't swallow. Maybe these separate shower stalls your bigot mother had put in weren't such a bad idea after all, she says. I watch as she tips her head back, opens her mouth, and places it under the steam, filling it with water. My pulse between my legs pounds so hard I almost groan. She kisses me, opening her mouth, the warm water spilling inside and down my chin and neck, and I lick my lips, thirsty for more, because tasting what she tasted makes me go mad. I throb down low, my body beating like a drum. I whimper, about to fucking come when she pulls away. My lip quivers, and I can't find my words for a minute. Get out, I tell her, but she doesn't. Grabbing the shower head off the hook, she sticks it between my legs and I gasp, stopping just short of crying out. So the getting out is a no if I ever heard one, but Liv doesn't stop because she's written by Penelope Douglas. We already saw that she's sticking the shower head between Clay's legs to clean down there really well and for no other reason. The spray pulsates over me and I'm already too close to stop it. Hold on to her forehead pressed into mine as she watches what she does to me, and my orgasm crests so wound up it takes no time for her to get me there. Heat floods my stomach, my thighs shake, my knees go weak, and I hear voices and lockers slamming shut just as I cover my mouth with my hand and scream. Fuck, I shake and I don't know if I'm crying or what because it feels so good. You don't feel with him what you feel with me, she whispers. Do you? I shudder and grip her every muscle clenched and I can't stand it. Nothing feels like this. Nothing. I hate you, I murmur in her ear, but still I don't let her go, grazing her skin with my lips. Oh God, she lets the orgasm run through me before placing the shower head back on the hook, and then she leans into my ear, the showers around us filling with people. It's a shame you'll be wasted on him, she whispers, steam billowed around us. We would have had so much fun. Would've. Maybe if you hadn't been such an intolerable lout, you could have made out with Liv any time that you wanted. She's literally leaving school, but you keep repeating the same things in your head. Repeating things does not make them more profound. It's been a few days and Liv isn't coming back and everyone knows that it's because of Clay. Duh, anyone with eyes would know that. Clay has to reckon with someone actually following through with their threats and not bluffing their way out of every situation. Who would have thought? So because Liv isn't there, Clay just starts fantasizing about her again. I sit in calculus, our 5th period class we share, or used to share, her desk to my left and at the very front still sitting empty. It's nice not to have her here anymore. She always had to look so different, all that silver in her ears glinting with the sunlight streaming through the windows, hugely distracting. The slut wear, the short skirts, and the fire engine red lipstick that no one understood the point of. I mean, was she trying to get the boys' attention? Because she did, which seemed opposite of what you'd think she'd want. Still though, the lipstick really was perfect on her skin tone. The little braids peeking out of her ponytails looked like they grew that way, and it was hard not to look at her. It was hard for anyone not to look at her. I drew in a deep breath and exhale. The school is more peaceful now. I'm better, clearer. The shower comes back to me and fuck, it felt so good. But if anyone found out, I'd be ruined. My friends might understand, but their parents wouldn't. My grandmother would send me to therapy and my parents would break, thinking they'd failed after so much loss already. It is taking forever for Clay to have the real, but I'm a cheerleader moment, and I'd rather be watching that right now because you can't outshine the original. Clay then hyper-focuses on the new girl sitting in Liv's seat because she can't be normal for even 1 minute. She turns back around and I shake my head, looking away. That's Liv's seat. So quickly filled like she was never here at all. Everyone has already moved on. The talk has even started to die down. Most people have stopped mentioning her. She's not in the locker room, the weight room, the lunchroom. Her desks don't exist anymore. She was never here. Breaking news! Actions have consequences!
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, what's up?
Clay's irritability is at an all-time high, and she starts freaking out at her friends because they're allegedly bad at field hockey. Again, actions meet consequences. Her friends misconstrue this as being about her brother, but she literally forgot all about Henry because she's a terrible person. Chapter 12. Liv's brothers finally found out about the video with her and Megan. It took them long enough for a video that was allegedly going viral. They are angry that she didn't say anything about it and let them get away with it after they had already destroyed their house and literally assaulted someone. Liv thinks this reaction is all about Megan's pride because no one can think critically for more than 5 seconds. They ask her if it's the assistant coach in the video and she refuses to answer and tells them to leave her alone. They are clearly upset because they don't want her to get hurt by a vile person and they want her to stand up for herself. When he speaks, his tone is gentler. You are the only one ever getting out of here, he tells me. Don't you think I've always known that? You have 3 months left. If you let them win now, it will follow you forever. I scoop up more chili. Clay Collins won't feel like she's won anything 6 months from now. Clay Collins, he says, that's who did this. I ignore the question. I'm a fighter, I inform him, but that is something you never understood. Not everything is worth a fight. What do I care what they think about me in 20 years? I won't be thinking about them at all. Well, that's just great, he says, tossing his phone back down, because as usual, everything is all about you. On the contrary, finally something is. I stare hard at him. I don't have to stay in a community that hates me. I don't have to put up with anything. Then fight back. I think that if she just explained that she was punishing Clay with the most effective way she knew, which is removing herself from school, that they would understand. If she explained it like psychological torture, I think they could be game for this. But she's so convinced that her brothers, who try very hard to be supportive, aren't on her side at all ever. It's a weird persecution complex that almost all Penelope Douglas heroines have. I don't get it. The doorbell rings and I see Trace head for it as Megan's and my gazes stay locked on each other. I eat another bite, finally looking away, rather than play his infantile game of who's going to blink first. I know what he's saying and part of me agrees. Part of me is consumed by pride and I hate that Clay Collins and her friends will get even a moment's satisfaction by running me off, but it's not my responsibility to educate them. It's not my lot in life to survive them. Fuck them. What the hell? I hear Trace gripe. We all turn our heads as he opens the door wide and I watch as Christian steps into the house, her lacrosse uniform on and her hair in braids. My brothers stare at her, knowing exactly who she is. Her grandfather is the judge Iron always gets every time he's in trouble, and the judge who would just love to be there when my brother gets his 3rd strike. Really brave or really stupid, Trace says, sounding amused. He turns his head to me. Any idea, Liv? She's not brave, I tell him. scooping up more food and pinning Chris Jen with a stare, or smart. Just stupid. You have 20 seconds, I tell her. She casts a nervous glance around the room, looking apprehensive to say whatever she has to say in front of my whole family, but whatever. The game is today, she says. And car is running. She tips her chin up, bracing herself. I have your uniform. Please. I laugh under my breath. Get out. I take a bite, everyone else remaining silent. But Christian doesn't back down. Gibbons cross, Jaeger. I can't beat them. I'm no longer on the team. You're still a student, she retorts. You could be back on the team with the snap of a finger. I shake my head. I said get out. Just this game, she moves in, hovering over me. This is your team too. You worked for months for this. And for what? I stir the food, refusing to look up. Gibbons Cross is the team to beat, and I wanted to be there because winning would feel great, but I could only hold on for so long. Joining that team was never about lacrosse. I thought they were in field hockey. Is Penelope gaslighting me right now? Whatever, it's one of the fucking sports with the six. It was me stupidly thinking that people would like me when they got to know me. I'd bond with the girls on the team. I'd be respected by classmates, be part of their world. The administration would value me and treat me as worthy of what I deserved if I was a team player in that one aspect. And all I got was shit for my trouble. Let them learn the hard way how fucking valuable I am. Why should she lift a finger to help all of you? Dallas says. It's not like you won't go back to treating her like shit the moment you have the win off her. Fuck 'em. Army folds his arms across his chest. Let them lose. A car horn honks outside, and I don't know if it's her mom or maybe it's Clay sending her in here to do her dirty work. I meet Christian's eyes. Tell Clay she can go fuck herself. Clay's not even playing, she tells me. I stop and look up at her. She's benched, Christian goes on. I drop my gaze, staring at my bowl, absently stirring as thoughts swirl in my head. Clay's not playing. Will she even be there? What the hell happened? I'll admit, the prospect of not having to deal with her bullshit on the field is enticing, but if I played today, they'll just try to coerce me into playing again, and eventually she will be back. I'm done with Marymount. Christian stands there waiting for me to say something, but when I don't, she sighs and walks for the door, giving up. I'm sorry about it, you know? She pauses with her hand on the knob. There's no excuse for our behavior. I drop my eyes to my bowl again, stealing my jaw. But there is a reason, she says. There is always a reason why people are the way they are, even Clay. My throat tightens and I listen as she opens the door, walks out, and closes it behind her. That took nerve, I hear Army say. Or stupidity, Dallas adds. Maybe both. Or maybe it's just humility. Christian is a follower, but I always knew she wouldn't be the way she is without Clay and Amy and their pressure. She might be a nice person otherwise. Iron speaks up. I'm not playing nice if those little pricks cross the tracks again, Macon. Without live at Marymount anymore, there's no reason for us to keep the peace. You'll do and not do what I tell you to, Macon fires back. Like Liv, Trace laughs. You get her to do what you want so well. What? Macon says. I'm glad she refused her. She always hated that she was on that team anyway. It was a waste of time. Irascibly laughs from her stool against the wall. I hear the engine outside rev and I drop the spoon back in the bowl, clenching my fist. Only one person I want to piss off more than Clay Collins, and that's the people who love me, waiting for me to fail. In 4 years, Macon has been to one of my games. One. At least I have no expectations of Clay. All he cares about is my future, never my happiness. He never listens. Pushing off the couch, I slip on my leather jacket, grab my keys and shoes, and slip my purse over my body. Liv, Macon yells, but I don't look back. Racing out the front door, I see Christian's mom's Range Rover pulling down the dirt road, and I run after it, pounding on the rear window. They stop, and I hear the door unlock. I swing open the back door and climb in. I've got a spare toothbrush, Christian says from the driver's seat as she looks at me in her rearview mirror, smiling. I sit down next to Ruby, Amy in the front passenger seat, and slam the door. I'm not staying the night, just for the game. It's all the fake manufactured drama that I can't stand in this book. She was never truly going to stay away from school. For all her griping, she's just as obsessed with Clay as Clay is with her. Instead of them just having a real conversation with each other, they have to find weird ways to get back at one another. Again, this book thinks it's giving Griddlehark or Catradora, but it's giving the ship Regina X Janice from Mean Girls, but the ship is from Wish. They make it to the game and they tell the coach that she's still a student. Coach is like, fine with this because, as we've established, she's also fine with bullying. She gets out on the field and some girl on the other team named El Costa says some taunting stuff, but she and Liv have more chemistry in this one scene than she and Clay have had in this entire book. Why couldn't this have gone 10 toes down on a sports rival / sports bully premise instead. They're doing the sports ball, Clay is benched and watching this. I personally don't care about Clay in the slightest, so this feels more like more manufactured drama. You know, it's fake. It's not real. Liv gets frustrated with the refs because girls keep slamming into each other. Liv also decides that coach should put Clay in because the other girls are getting exhausted. I would rather lose than be in any game with Clay, but I have integrity. So what do I know? Someone grabs onto my shoulder and about 5 people hug me. We're back up 2 goals and I glance at the clock, 9 minutes left. I run back to position looking over at Clay. That's okay, I taunt. We're doing fine. Never needed you. I smile, turn my eyes away and resume play, but a minute later I hear the whistle blow. Coach calls Ruby off the field and I see Clay putting on her gear. She heads right for me, brushing my shoulder as she passes. Teammates doesn't mean team. Friendly ain't friends, I say. Just so we're clear. Fuck yeah, we're clear. Help me score and you're useful. Otherwise, you're not. We play the ebb and flow of our game, settling back into familiar territory as I look over and see Clay always there when I need her. She anticipates me, and I guess it's from playing together so long, but I don't have that dynamic with all the girls. I pass, she catches, she runs, and I cover her. Here, I call. She doesn't hesitate. She passes me the ball, and I shoot it to Amy. Clay running ahead, taking the ball back and scoring. Everyone cheers while the people in the stands boo, and Clay smiles, her friends jumping on her. I pass her. Good job, she tells me. I blow spit out and you just spit. Just it landing an inch from her shoe. She looks down and then at me, her smile gone. You trashed my house, I say as everyone moves into position around us. You desecrated our flag. She doesn't try to defend herself and I don't want her to. I'm just reminding her that we're not a team. Liv, someone yells. Clay and I turn our heads, seeing Megan next to the coach, her blonde hair spilling out of her baseball cap and a look in her eyes that warned me not to get myself in trouble. Clay waves at someone and I follow her gaze, seeing Callum and his friends sitting on the hood of his car on the other side of the chain link fence in the parking lot. He watches us with that look in his eyes that reminds me of what my lactose intolerance feels like when it kicks in. You don't feel like he does. Clay whispers, moving in close as play starts around us. You didn't feel powerful. He felt powerful. He's had her. I pause, staring at her. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that she's fucked him already. I don't know why I thought she hadn't gone that far. Maybe because Clay Collins is such a priss, she doesn't want to get dirty. She looks at me. You can't do to me what he can do. I can do anything he can do, I grit out. You want me inside of you? I watch her eyes fall to my mouth, a hint of my tongue showing itself. You want to ride me, I offer? I can do anything you want. I can do anything to her a man can do. But I will never touch you, I tell her, casting a glance to the sidelines and Megan. I like her. She's so ready. Clay's eyes narrow, a fire lighting inside. You're bland and repressed, boring and bitchy, I grin. Good thing is, rich or not, those things can be fixed. Her own words thrown back at her from when she wrote on me in Sharpie, and the knowledge that I'll have a good fucking time with anyone but her makes her eyes turn red. She growls, shoving me in the chest, and I laugh, fisting her shirt and dragging her down to the grass with me. We roll, whistles sound, and the crowd goes wild. The showdown they expected by 2 rival teams taking a twist they didn't expect. Oh, you want to be on top, huh? I tease, Clay straddling me. She screams, more pissed off, and I just laugh, barely noticing all the arms trying to pull us apart. I won't deny the homoeroticism of women's sports, but this book does not capture it. These two feel more like they are Penelope Douglas men with women's skin stitched onto them. I'm not saying that sapphics can't talk a certain way to each other to like make each other excited, but it's the whole picture of them and their whole personalities.
Guys, it's editing Shelby. I did not realize that this video was going to be like 5 hours long. So what I decided to do is I'm going to split it up. And I also had some like technical problems at the end with like audio. You guys don't care about that, but still. So this is going to be part 1. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you could, please like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe put like a knife emoji or something. This book is insane. But I'm having a really good time doing it. I just got to refilm one little last part of the last part. So please look out for that. That will be out soon. I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!